Hello and welcome. I'm TJ Walker. Thanks so much for joining me today. We are live. It is Tuesday, February 20th, 2023. This is an open session, time for you to ask questions about any aspect of communication skills, public speaking, presentation skills, speaking to the media, speaking in front of a camera, speaking in front of live audiences. I'm here for you. We're going to do a bunch of things over roughly the next 3 hours. So if you have a question, feel free to post it and I will look at it, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and a few other platforms. I am here for you. Now, some of you post questions on my online courses, on Udemy, other platforms. Some of you post them right on YouTube. I'll be taking questions from a variety of places. And later on today, more in the second hour, I'll be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be creating live a training seminar. This is what a lot of people would call a webinar, a sales webinar. It's going to be a little bit different than most webinars. And I'll talk to you about that later. But as you've no doubt noticed, there's a huge trend of people, whether they're selling professional services, high-end products, doing it by creating an educational webinar, which is really just a sales pitch, sort of an infomercial. Now, I've tried these before too. There's so many gurus out there pitching them more and more and more. You're seeing kind of an explosion. I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to try to make an educational training that is truly educational. It doesn't just whet people's appetite. It doesn't just tantalize them. It doesn't just scratch an itch. It doesn't just create pain to make them want to pull out a credit card and buy. Look, I'm a capitalist. I have no problem selling things. I like selling things. I like making money, but I am a little bit uncomfortable with the current state of how people are using training seminars and learning webinars to sell stuff, where they promise a whole bunch of things, and then really all they do is try to get people irritated and agitated and feeling frustrated, like they got to buy now or their life is going to be ruined. And I'm frankly uncomfortable with this idea of constantly telling people, hey, you're going to learn all these things, come to my seminar. And then they come, and it's a little bit of a bait and switch. Okay, I'm going to just talk to you about fears you have, concerns you have, needs you have, and then sort of hint at a solution, but you don't get any solution without paying $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. Now, it does work for some people, and some people are very happy with it. It just doesn't really fit with me the way I like to sell things. And I've been successful without that. So I'm going to try a different approach. I would, if you're watching now, and I see we have a number of people watching right now. If you are watching, I'm going to adjust my microphone just slightly. If you are watching, I would absolutely love your opinion on what do you think would be the best way for someone who has expertise, is sincere, is trying to help people, but is also trying to market a service or product. What is the best way, the most ethical way, and frankly, the most effective way to do that for long term? Short term, it's always about pressure, manipulate, play on fear, get a credit card now. Don't worry about the long term. But I've been in this for the long term, for the last 40 years, basically. I certainly hope to be in this for maybe realistically not another 40 years, but another 30 years. So I like to think long term. I like to think of myself as a long term thinker and planner, and not in anything for just a quick buck. So I would appreciate if you have any feedback on what you think would be the ideal elements of a webinar, a training that is designed to do two things: help people, but also introduce a product, service, and lead to sales. So I'd love to hear from you on that. If you want to join me today, feel free to. And I see we have a handful of people already. This wasn't scheduled officially, But we've now been working out the kinks of this studio and the lights and the microphone for a couple of weeks now, and I'm getting more comfortable with it. I appreciate all the great feedback from you. And I'm getting close to the point where I really do see us doing this live every single day, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. If you have any thoughts on that, would love to hear from you. Barb says hello. Uh, Seven, who I believe is Suba, has joined us as well. Good to see all of you joining us. And I actually forgot to put the link to this today. So if you would love to speak to me live, you know what? Let me do that right now. It's not that complicated. And we're just here among friends right now. So what I'm going to do is type the link to StreamYards. If you would like to join us today and actually appear on camera with me, all you have to do is go to my YouTube page and go to the community tab. And right there on the community tab, I'm going to post it as we speak. And I am going to go to community tab, and I'm in the wrong account. I have a couple of different Gmail accounts. I have to be in the correct one if I'm going to actually make a post on YouTube. So now I'm in the correct one. I go to community, and I'm just going to put join me live now. And I'm going to type that. Okay, so it's there. If you would like to speak to me and not just type a message, but actually come right on screen, we can hear your voice, we can see you, and this can be more of a dialogue and a conversation, then all you have to do is click that link, and happy to have you. Barb has posted it as well for a number of my students in the Udemy community. So if you want to join us either on Facebook or on YouTube, happy to have you join us. So I want to go right into questions. Some of you posted some questions last week, and it looks like someone may have joined me. Okay, Adam has joined us. And we do have a preference. Sometimes we have a very strict structure when I'm doing, sometimes we have an interview. But in general, we do give a preference to anyone who wants to just come on and ask a question. Adam has joined us today. How are you?
How are you, sir? How you doing?
Fantastic. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello.
Absolutely.
Now, did you ask me the question last week about whether it's a good idea to practice with a mirror, or am I confusing you with someone else?
No, I think you're confusing me with someone else, sadly.
Okay, then I'll get to that question later. Do you have any particular topics you'd like me to address, or any questions about any aspect of communication skills or public speaking skills or personal development skills you'd like me to address today?
Well, not really, no. Thank you.
Okay.
I was just wanted to come by and say hello.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. And now did you tell us you're in your last year of high school at the moment?
Yes,
Great. Well, I really applaud you for taking an interest in communication skills and your skills in media editing. That's fantastic. So many people make the mistake of thinking, well, I'm young. I'm in middle school. I'm in high school. I'm in college. I'm in business school. I don't have to learn how to be a successful communicator. I'll wait until I'm in middle management. Then I'll need to learn how to speak. And they get to middle management. They think, well, I'll wait till I become senior management. And the problem with that is they never get to senior management. They cap out their career. They they give themselves a glass ceiling because they never learned how to speak. They're always thinking about that's something for the future. So I'm really happy that we have a high school student with us, and I want to applaud you for
thank you, sir.
spending time thinking about this, learning about it, immersing yourself in it, because it can be a huge, huge differentiator throughout your career. So
No, I
many
absolutely
people,
agree.
so many people around the world these days think, well, if I just study hard, if I just get good grades in engineering, if I just get good grades in math or statistics, I'll get a good job. Well, maybe you might get your first job, but it's those communication skills they're going to get your second and third and fourth job. It's the communication skills that will make your colleagues think that's a leader. That's someone who can manage other people. That's someone who, if we have to send them out to talk to clients one day, to give a presentation in front of the industry, that's someone we can send. So that's why it's so important that you are, in fact, taking the time right now to learn these skills. So I do want to applaud you. Let me ask you, you're in high school now. What percentage of your teachers would you say are interesting? We don't have to call them public speakers, but lecturers, presenters. What percentage of them are interesting and actually captivate you versus what percentage are they just going through the motions, standing up on a in front of the blackboard or the electronic board these days and being boring?
Well, in my high school, the teachers that I have are sort of the kind of one that are advanced. So I upgraded my education system in high school. Before that, I was in a national education system. In the
Mhm.
national, of course, nobody has the skills to give a proper speech. That's why I would always not focus in class. But in high school, no, I actually noticed that some people have communication skills that no, they can actually make you stay focused in class. And
Okay.
so in high school, I think there are a good percentage of people, and they actually, my teachers are the one who are advising me like learn how to speak. So when you go to college and you give a presentation in college, you know how to give it properly.
Well, I'm glad, very glad to hear they're giving that advice. That is fantastic advice because it's both a frustration of mine with the education system in the US and around the world, but also, frankly, the source of most of my success. And what I mean by that is I'm frustrated that most schools, doesn't matter if it's a public school, a school without many resources, or a private school with all the resources in the world, the education system gives very little importance to teaching spoken communication skills. Everything is about writing, writing, writing. And yet, most
Absolutely.
people, as they advance in their career, how well they write has relatively little impact unless they're a professional journalist or author. How well they speak has all the impact in the world of how far they actually get. And it's not taught even at the finest graduate schools around the world. And I say I have mixed feelings because that benefits me because it
Mhm.
creates this huge need in the private sector and in governments in the adult world because people who are never taught that. So they come to me, they hire me for a day or a week or ongoing training. So it has been how I've been able to build my business. But I still would like people to see this whole thing taken more seriously. And thanks so much for joining us. I'm going to take you off the screen now, unless there's anything else
Yes.
you want to add, but more than happy to have you in our green room, our sort of VIP green room. So thanks so much. I see that Mansoor has stopped by, says, I'm very interested about this subject. Which subject is that, Mansoor? If you wouldn't mind clarifying, and if you would like to come in and talk to us, happy to have you. Uh, Ramgirl Rasha says, Sir, may I know what would you like to say if I want to be as fluent as you are right now in English, considering I just only know the alphabet? So, Ramgirl, I think it's great that you aspire to be fluent in multiple languages. I have very few regrets in my life, but one regret is that I didn't really grow up bilingual, trilingual, learning how to think in multiple languages. I am sort of a poster child for being the ugly American who only speaks one language. So I applaud you for that. I would I would suggest you change your sights just a little bit. Don't think about it as speaking like me. Think of it as just using your gifts, your brain, your ideas, your ability to connect with people and communicating in your way using whatever language you want to use. I can tell you it doesn't matter what language you want to get good at it, it helps to actually speak in that language more. Too many people make the mistake, and I made that mistake in junior high school of just studying Spanish in the book for the test, not speaking enough. Both of my sisters are fluent in Spanish, in part because they lived in Spain and they very consciously said, I'm not going to spend all my time around other Americans speaking English. I'm going to spend my time actually talking with Spaniards, living with Spaniards, and they both became extraordinarily fluent. So that's really the best way. Now, these days, if you live in a place where everyone around you does not speak English, you have an advantage because you can find people online, like right now, speak to me or others in English. So, one thing I would suggest, you don't have to do it today, but come online right now. We've given you the link. Speak to me. If your English isn't perfect, nobody cares. Something beats nothing. Getting in the arena, speaking, even if you use the occasional wrong word, even if your grammar isn't perfect, even if your tones are a little off from what a native speaker would do, it's okay. You're in the game, you're able to get feedback. Now, the most important thing I would recommend is beyond speaking English or whatever language you're trying to really become fluent in, beyond speaking as often as possible, is to record yourself and watch it and really listen to it and figure out, do I like the way that sounds? Does that sound like what I'm aspiring to be? Now, there are a lot of great apps these days. And just recently, a close family member of mine has started using an accent reduction app to help speak English better and is seeing some progress there. So there are a number of apps out there that will help with accent, but nothing beats actually talking to real human beings. And the best of all is face to face, where you can see it. If you say something, they're like, huh? Or they burst out laughing because it turns out you thought you were saying, I like to eat soup, but you actually said you like to eat soap. That is something that will really educate you and help you with both positive and negative reinforcement to get better at a particular language. So, Ram, that's, I don't know if you prefer Ram or Rasha, but that's really what I would recommend. And the final thing to really take it up a notch, teach a course in the language you're trying to be good at. That will force you to really bring up your game. That will force you to scrutinize yourself. That will force you to video record yourself if you're doing an online course. So don't worry whether you have the proper credentials. Don't worry if you're going to get rich from the course. But my recommendation, just make a course on a subject where you know something that could be of value to somebody else. You don't have to have a PhD on the topic. One of our prize members of our community here, JM Ektiari, did that. He came to me, I believe he was 15 years old, about a decade ago, wanting to learn. His English was really not very good at all. I had extreme difficulty understanding him, but he didn't just sit back and watch videos from me. He did practice videos, did homework, and then started teaching courses on the Udemy platform, Skillshare, and other platforms. And now, of all the courses he teaches, technology courses, how to use Google Drive, things like that, one of his most popular courses is how to speak English and how to speak with an American accent. So he has achieved tremendous success. And that's part of how he's been able to emigrate to North America. So that's really what I think is the most important way. But if you have a question, if you have a follow-up question, you're more than welcome to type it into the comment section. But you're even more welcome to click the button, join me, video on, so we can see you, you can see us seeing your mouth, which makes it easier for someone to process information. But you can also have your camera off and just speak so that we hear you. If you're just joining me today, I'm TJ. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel. This is the place where we discuss all aspects of communication skills, public speaking, communication skills, speaking one-on-one, small groups, large groups, to the media, and when there's no one around but a camera. We cover all of these topics in a variety of ways. Now, I come to you every day, typically with at least 3 specific videos, some short, less than 60 seconds, some long, could be 4, 6, 8, 10, 20 minutes. And then increasingly, we're coming to you live every day so that it's not just me talking, it's you getting to talk, put your questions right out there. And Robin says, no more questions. Thanks a lot. Okay. And happy that you could stop by. Mansoor, if you said you're interested in the subject, but I still don't know which subject since we brought up several different subjects today. So please let me know about that. By the way, if you are one of my students, feel free to just say what course you're in and what platform you're on. And then if we do have a long line of people, I'll put you right to the front of the list. So I do have a special part in my heart for the online students who have been so fantastic to me, my family, my career. And so I have a special soft spot for them. Those of you who know me have heard a little about my journey and that I started doing in-person public speaking training and media training way, way back in the Stone Ages. I did my first one in college in 1984. Started my first online training course in 1998. Basically lost money for 15 years. It's only been in the last 10 years where it really took off, and really, frankly, the last 5 years where through the help of folks like Barb and others and many of you, it really soared. And now there are 2 million, roughly 2 million students who take my courses on various online platforms. So it's been a great, wonderful experience as, especially during the pandemic, as the traditional trainings and flying around the world went down, people like you who want to learn online, that went up. So I'm very much grateful to that. I see Janice has stopped by today at Unconventional Advice That Works. Good to see you. Like the way you've revamped the videos. Well, thank you, Janice. And Mansoor says, can I speak with you if possible? Sure, Mansoor, all you have to do is click the link. And just as we had another colleague on earlier today, you can just come right on. You can, and I'll split the screen. I'll split the screen with you. We can see you and we can hear you. Mansoor, you're on Facebook now. So if you're in the student page, you should see the link. Otherwise, you can go right to the YouTube channel, the TJ Walker Success YouTube channel, and go to the community tab. The most recent post says, join me live here. You click it. I see you show up right here in my stream on StreamYard on my screen. I click it and I add you and we can see you. So you're asking to speak. The answer is yes. Very much happy to do that. As I mentioned at the beginning of the hour, in our second hour today, I'm going to be sort of letting it all hang out. I'm going to be showing you again, metaphorically and physically, what's behind the curtains. How does it actually work running a public speaking, training, communication skills training business? I'm going to take you behind the curtains, let you see what I do and how I do it, because I'm going to be making a training video, a free training video. It might be marketed as a free webinar, but it's going to be something I do that will try to really give people some very specific takeaway skills to benefit them, to reward them for giving their time to me. But it's also going to be a sales tool that will help me sell my public speaking, media training workshops, the public workshops we do, my private trainings where I fly all over the world and work with executives one-on-one and small groups. We now offer monthly and perhaps soon weekly live webinars that are very specific and focused with my colleague Jess Todfeld, typically for a couple of hours on a specific skill set that's packaged with an online course. And we also have a new course bundle where you get a master communication skills course of mine from my website, Media Training Worldwide, but you get a couple of 100 courses all bundled together in a unique way designed to help you with really every aspect of communications in your career and other aspects of personal development. So that's something new that's coming that I will be using this training webinar to help promote, not to mention other courses and old standbys like, you know, books. By the way, people, most, not everyone, most consultants, trainers, experts who sell books, I should tell you, they don't really make much money from books. This was the, I believe this was the first book I did that dealt with communication skills, which is now almost 20 years old, but it still has good information. People like it. I do sell some from time to time. I'm not going to spend time hawking it today, but that is one of the things that if people watch this webinar I'll be creating today, it will lead them to a page where that will be one of the options. Because, like any marketer, any business, I do try to have different products at different prices. And it could be anything from, well, you could probably get a book like that on Amazon Unlimited for nothing, and then I get paid by the minutes. Sometimes you may have seen that for as little as $3. Sometimes people get courses on extreme discounts. You've got live webinars, they're usually a couple $100. Live in-person workshops that are typically under 1,000, sometimes a little more. And then in-person trainings for groups and individuals that could be anywhere from 8,500 to as much as 20,000. And speeches that have varying keynote addresses of varying prices. So part of any modern business these days is having different products and services to reach different parts of the market. There is a school of thought that says just do one thing, do it the absolute best, charge an extreme premium, and it eliminates confusion. Those of you who have ever heard of the online marketing expert Sunny Lenarduzzi, she's a big proponent of that. And I do have a tremendous amount of respect for her, but she essentially sells one product. It is a training course on how people can sell their expertise in online courses. And I believe it's around $6,000. That works very well for her. So she doesn't worry about selling books and downloads and an audio here and a short video there. She sells one thing. It works for her. One of the things I can tell you, having been in this whole world of selling expertise for decades, is there's a lot of ways of doing it. There's no one perfect way that is ideal for every person in every niche in every industry. If you want to be successful, you need to experiment. You need to try a lot of things. The thing I've found that works the best is people who are constantly in the market getting feedback and failing a lot. Now, nobody likes to fail, but the goal is fail quickly, or at least fail in a way that doesn't destroy you. If you can fail, if you can make small bets here and there without it bankrupting you, without it making you homeless, and learn from it, then you can grow and grow and grow and get better and better. And I see Janice Rose, glad to hear your exciting 2024 news. TJ Walker, wish I could stay for the live. We'll return for the rebroadcast. So thanks so much. That does bring up a good point. Part of the value of going live is not that 10 million people are going to join me and start with me the second I'm on and stay glued in front of their computers or their cell phone for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours and be there every second. That's not the point of it. That's frankly not the point of CNN and a lot of networks where they're on 24 hours a day. They don't expect anyone to be on 24 hours a day. What they're trying to do is to be flexible and to be a resource for when you want it. Some of you may come, watch for an hour. Some of you may come, ask one question, get an answer, leave in 5 minutes. Some of you may want to just pop on for 30 seconds. It's all okay. Part of the beauty of being live is it does create more of a connection than just seeing a video someone produced. because anyone can look good in a produced video. Someone could do 189 takes, have a million edits, and sound perfect. Part of what I'm trying to do by going live with you is to demonstrate best practices and also let you see it warts and all, because I do make mistakes. I do occasionally stumble. I'll do a take of something and then stop and say, I stumbled on that word, not exactly what I wanted to say. Let me pause, step back, start the whole sentence again. I think it's important for you to see how creators create, because sometimes it can be intimidating to see just the polished, finished videos where everything is perfect. The number one problem, and I've said this many times, the number one problem most smart, intelligent, educated, thoughtful people have who are respected by clients and colleagues, the number one problem they have is not that they don't have a good voice or a good camera or the right clothes or the right hand gestures. The number one problem is this never hits record or on or go live. That's the biggest problem. So, what I'm hoping to show you by going live is that you can do it too. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm occasionally going to be talking to the wrong camera and looking stupid because why is he over here? And I'm going to be trying to learn as we go, learning from you. I'm hoping it is a real win-win situation where you can learn from me and I can learn from you. And together as a community, we really grow. So that's what it's about. That's why it's live. That's why I'm not just doing this without streaming and making the videos and showing you the finished product. Part of it is I want feedback from you to figure out what works, what doesn't work. I can tell you right now, a huge percentage of what I'm going to talk about in hour 2 today with the training webinar that I'll be making, it's coming from you. It's things I've learned from you, and a lot of it in just the last 3 months. One of the things I've learned is people tend to really, really care about body language, much more so than I do, frankly. I think it's important not to have body language that's distracting. I want you to have body language that makes you come across comfortable and confident. But in my world as a public speaking coach, media training coach, it's about 5% of the puzzle of being successful as a communicator. But what I've noticed is that when you vote with your eyeballs and your clicks of what you like, what you watch, what you share, it's it's more like a 40% in terms of level of interest. So there's a huge disparity there. That means I've got to react to you. The next thing is about the voice. So many people are convinced they really have to change their voice in order to be an effective communicator. Again, I put that is, for me as a professional, I put that at like 2%. But I noticed that millions of people around the globe think of it as a huge, again, it's more like a 30% thing. So I will be talking about specific things you can do to improve your voice. The third thing that is a little bit of a shock to me that so many people like is just anytime I just talk about obvious mistakes. If I put mistakes in the headline of a short video or a long video, it's pretty much guaranteed to get 100% more views than if I just focus on one really important issue, like how to be a better storyteller. So I will be talking about that too. Now, Adam has joined again, and I don't see any connection. So if you're here just to listen, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Sometimes people like to click into StreamYard because it's just a better connection than the internet service they're on if they were using Facebook or YouTube or something like that. But Adam, if you do want to ask a question, give an opinion, have us critique one of your own videos, please come on, let me know, or you can type a message. And actually, I see we've got a couple of different chats. We've got a comment section and a private chat. Oh, and Adam did just leave a message. Sorry, I'm just now seeing it. Says I'm here just to listen, but thank you, sir. Let me know if you want me to join. And happy if you want to join online, but you certainly don't have to. What I try to do is create a welcoming environment where anyone can ask a question. You may ask a question that at first blush, I'm thinking, oh my God, not this again. This is such an obvious, almost stupid question. But then I had to realize I'm not the one who's stupid. I mean, you're not the one who's stupid. I am. Because if you're asking it, chances are a lot of other people have that same question in mind, and perhaps millions of people around the globe. So I have to be careful too. There is such a thing known as the curse of knowledge, where when people have been in a field too long, they get deeper and deeper and deeper into it. They forget what they didn't know 5 years, 10 years, 20 years earlier. They become so narrow that it's hard for them to talk to people who are intermediates or beginners because they're so deep into it. They can actually become less helpful. That is why in a lot of fields, whether it's your medical doctor or many other fields, you're a lot better off with someone in their 30s who's been in the field for 10 years rather than someone who's been in it 30 or 40 years. So that is something I want to protect myself against, is that curse of knowledge of being in. So that's a long-winded answer to don't worry about what questions you have. If anyone else thinks they're smart, it's a question you have that relates to communication skills. Then type it in right here, post it, or come on live. And let's see, a Facebook user says, thanks, Barb swamped. So a quick drop in. Why do you prefer Facebook to LinkedIn for this type of live broadcast is one of the questions. So interesting question there. Right now, if I'm doing it the way I thought I did it, this stream is seen live on YouTube. It's seen on my Facebook page, my professional page, TJ Walker Success. It's seen on the Udemy student page on Facebook that or the Udemy, the Facebook group on Facebook. It's also seen on LinkedIn unless I hit the wrong click. It's also on Twitch. And there's one other, I think it was, well, let me look right here. I think we're on Twitter, on Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and another Facebook. So that, in answer to your question, I really don't prefer this on Facebook to LinkedIn. I thought I was on both. Because one of the things I have found is that it's very difficult playing on someone else's front yard. If I'm on YouTube, that's their baby. They can kick me off, no questions asked. It's not a government resource where everyone has a right to that, like in the town square. It's not a public resource like the old broadcast airways. It's not a public resource like the ocean where everyone has equal right access to the ocean. So LinkedIn is owned by private investors. YouTube is owned by Google, owned by private investors. They can kick you off at any point. So I take the attitude of I don't want to be dependent on any one platform. So I try to be on as many platforms as possible. Now, there's certainly a school of thought that says don't spread yourself too thinly. Really try to focus on one platform, get known there, build a huge and loyal and tight-knit community on that platform before going to others. I respect that, but frankly, I've just been burned by getting channels deleted. So I'm going sort of the other avenue of let's try to reach people anywhere and everywhere they are that's convenient for them. I see Barb has posted a comment. How should we incorporate personal experiences in each social media platform while streaming to them simultaneously? So that's something that Gary Vaynerchuk is a master at, of not necessarily streaming simultaneously, but by creating individualized context for each platform. And he's frankly better at it than I am. Gary Vaynerchuk, the social media guru, is well known, respected, and notorious for staying up till 2 a.m. and coming up with the perfect message and picture that works just for Facebook, and having stuff that's completely different for Twitch, and having stuff, long form videos of his that have been turned into text columns for LinkedIn, and the audio pulled out perfectly for podcast. So part of it is he has a team of 27 people. Part of it, he's giving massive thought to every single platform. I wish I could be that good. I'm just not. My head would explode. I think I create more content than most people, but are there better ways of doing it? Sure. The best practice is everything you do online is unique and tailored and specific to just that platform. I don't know how you do it without most people's heads exploding. So, Barb, you and I have talked about this before, sort of off camera and on, in that there's definitely a school of thought that says just do one, just do Facebook, talk about other Facebook posts, get people just on Facebook to talk about Facebook and your experiences on Facebook. And I remember joining Facebook in 2008, and that can be more meaningful to Facebook. Certainly, if you're creating video on one platform, you're much better off uploading that video to each individual platform rather than a link. I mean, one of the things that is frankly kind of a waste of time is making a video on YouTube and then linking to it from LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all the others, because all those other platforms are jealous. They do not want to send people off their platform. So that is one thing I am a little better at, is I don't try to take people from one platform to another. I'm uploading videos just specific to that platform. So it's now what they call native to that platform. So again, it's not that I deserve that much credit for that. That's kind of the minimum you can do. But even better, Facebook, Instagram is very visual. I would be much better off putting nice quote cards and more graphics on Instagram because it is such a graphic place. But I take the attitude of I'm an expert on speaking. Speaking is what I do. It's what I like to do. It's what is easier for me. I'm not graphically oriented. And if I'm about speaking, if I can speak 3 times a day and reach an Instagram audience, that's a lot better than me spreading myself so thin, trying to think of graphics and images and pictures and staying up till 2 a.m. and then burning out 3 months later and never going back to Instagram. So part of what I always look to do is to figure out when I start something, is this sustainable? Is this something I can do, not just in the rush of excitement? Oh, it's a new project. Wow, let's do this. But is this something I can really do over the long haul? If I think that's too much effort, I would get bored with that, or I'm not going to be able to pay someone to do that regularly, then I don't start it. Barb also said, I think I addressed that. Heather says, I appreciate you. Well, Heather, thank you so much. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your nice comments. And again, and this is going to seem like I'm fishing for compliments. I'm really not. I'm trying to practice what I preach. That is, anytime someone compliments you when they see you speaking, presenting, ask them what they remember. Ask them what specifically was useful. That's valuable feedback. So Heather, if you don't mind letting me know, what did I say that will benefit you, that you appreciate? Not that you like, my voice or something, who cares? But what have I said or done that you're going to use for your own career or your own life that will benefit you? If you could let me know that, that would be even more meaningful to me than you telling me you appreciate me. And I do appreciate the fact that you appreciate me and sharing that. Barb says, do you believe each social media platform addresses a different target audience, or are they all the same? So there's clearly overlap because I know a lot of people who are like me who are on every platform. If you're a professional person and you have customers around the world, you don't really know that they're all on one. So you kind of have to feel like you're on all of them. Certainly, in certain fields, in certain industries, it's easy to say, well, gosh, I can't reach 100% of my ideal prospects, but 90% of them are just here. And the other 10% are scattered across 20 platforms. So why kill myself going after 21 platforms if I really focus my energies 100% on this one platform? I'll get 90%, and it's far and away more efficient. I do know people like that. I have clients like that where they just know that their ideal prospect is really spending a lot of time. One of them specifically on Facebook, an old a client from a long time ago. Not that she's old. JJ Smith. She does personal nutrition, personal development, weight loss, and she has a very, very specific targeted demographic. They're on Facebook. She knows when she posts things there, she's going to get, thousands and thousands of retweets and likes. She knows that a certain subset of her people want her so much they will go into her private training program and pay a nice monthly fee. And it's become a very lucrative business for her. And she also knows that by attracting so many people every day to her post, that she's built such a following that now any book she does, zoop, right to the top of the New York Times bestseller list because she has a huge drive. Now, I haven't talked to her lately, but as far as I can tell, she still focuses 95% of her time on Facebook because it's a way for her to really reach people who like her, know her, are similar to her, aspire to be her, and see her as a very aspirational figure. I wish I knew of some platform where 95% of the people, 90% of the people who care about what I do are on it. So I think but I don't. It really depends on what you do in the industry. There are certainly some fields where LinkedIn is going to be your best platform. Very, very business specific. Maybe you're an expert on certain HR aspects for the technology industry. And it may be that everyone in your industry who deals with technology HR spends 3 hours a day on LinkedIn. So in that case, you would be far better off spending all your time creating content on LinkedIn, going live on LinkedIn, writing lengthy thought pieces on LinkedIn rather than trying to be on every platform. The good news and the bad news for someone like me, I'm in the communication skills space. The good news is everyone in the world has to communicate. It doesn't matter how rich you are or if you're a beggar on the street. Everyone has to communicate, whether you're begging for money, politician asking people for funds, a billionaire ordering staff around of how to tend to the mansion. Everyone has to communicate by speaking. Everyone in sales, every CEO. It's something that affects all human beings. That's the good news. The bad news is if you try to market to the whole world, you will fail. It's too diffuse. And that's the beauty of a model like Sunny Letterduzi, who you heard me speak about. She narrows her focus. She's just going after entrepreneurs, trainers, experts who are trying to market their expertise by selling online courses. So she has eliminated 99.999% of the world. Because of that, she can focus primarily on YouTube with her YouTube videos and I guess a little bit of Facebook. It's worked very well for her. If you do something that's very art related, very visual related, it may be that Instagram is the perfect place for you or Pinterest. So you've really got to talk to your prospects, talk to your existing clients, talk to your customers to find out where they are. Every time I talk to my customers and clients, I find they're all over the place, everywhere, especially the media training people, because they're in the media quite often for their job. They have to be on every single major social media platform, which is why I feel I need to as well. Okay, we got some folks joining us live. Before I come to you, Kat, another question came in. I think of going wide like some podcasters who create one episode and make it available across platforms. Well, yes, absolutely. You see that more and more these days. And on unless Spotify's giving you $100 million, there's no reason to limit it to one podcasting platform. You can put it on all of them through an RSS feed. And then if you're doing video of it, you can go on every video platform. Woodpecker writes, send us the link to join your stream. It's posted in this comment section. Also, if you go to my YouTube channel, it's TJ Walker Success. If you hit the community tab today, I just posted it. It says join me live, and there is a link. And let's see, we've got Kat with us. How are you today? Kat, can you hear me? I see you're on screen.
Hello.
Hi, how are
Yes,
you today?
please. I'm good. How are
Thanks.
you?
Fantastic. Where are you joining us from today?
Currently I'm in Tanzania, but I come from Western Uganda.
Western Uganda and
Yes,
Tanzania.
East Africa.
Oh, great.
Tanzania.
And what's your biggest communications challenge these days? Where are you trying to improve in your own life?
I think at times so nervous and I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Am I presenting myself the way I'm supposed to? So in my communication, there's a lot of um, um, so I'm so sensitive to everything I do and how I present myself to the rest of the world or the people I'm talking to.
So I want you to do one thing for me, if you wouldn't mind. Make a note, because you started talking at roughly 52 minutes and 0 seconds. Because this will be posted on my YouTube channel and other social media. And I want you to notice the fact that you don't say and at all until you started saying, I'm worried I say and too much. You're actually very articulate.
Okay.
And you mention you're nervous. Well, everybody's nervous from time to time speaking. The most important thing is you didn't let it
Mhm.
freeze you. You didn't let it push you back into the corner and say, "Oh, I'm not good enough. I can't speak to the mighty TJ today." No, you just pushed a button, you came on and you talked to us. So that's fantastic that you did that. The
Okay.
more you do that,
Okay.
the
Maybe.
harder it will ever get to be nervous, because it just becomes talking. It just becomes as easy as breathing.
Okay. Just maybe one more thing to share. Like I'm good to talk. Like now we are conversing, just casual talk. But when it comes to maybe some professional presentation, I'm like, what? Me? I mean,
Well, here's the trick. By the way, do you go by Kat? What do I call you? What is your name?
Olive.
Olive. Okay. So, Olive, here's the trick. When you're giving a so called professional presentation, just treat it like it is a conversation. By that, I mean make it interesting, be expressive, and don't try to be extra formal. So many people are really good when they're conversational, but then the second they tell themselves, I'm now giving a professional presentation, they become boring and stiff.
Oh,
So that's so a lot of times you're much better off, rather than having a traditional big long PowerPoint that you're going to go through. Think of it as whether you're talking to 3 people in a business meeting or 30 or 300 or 3,000, sometimes you're better off thinking in terms of, if I could just sit down and have a conversation, what would the first 10 questions one person ask me about this topic? And then you have the conversation. It will come across much better.
Okay,
Give
that's
that a try.
much helpful, and I will do my best to practice that.
Great. You know what? Stay with me because that topic you brought up
Thank you so
relates to
much.
so many people. I'm going to take you off. Well, I'm going to leave you there, but I'm going to put myself on. I want to do a recording of that because it's so important. I think a lot of people do want to see that. And I want to reach more people with an on-demand video that I'm going to make right now. So we try to do sort of
Okay.
several things at once. I'm going to hit record and I'm going to do sort of a long version of that one and a short version. What do you do if you're really good being conversational, talking to one colleague, one customer, one client? You're sitting down, you're in the flow, you're really communicating. But now you have to give a formal presentation. You're standing and you feel yourself stiffening up. You no longer feel comfortable. You no longer feel relaxed. You notice that the ums are coming up. Maybe your voice is flat. Your eyes are looking down. It's no longer fun for you. It's no longer fun for the people you're speaking with. Well, time out. What you need to do is stop telling yourself, I'm giving a formal presentation. Just think of it as another conversation. If you have an interesting conversation with one customer, client, colleague, or friend sitting down one on one and it's going well, guess what? You have all the skills you need to give a great formal presentation in front of 30 people, 300 people, or 3,000 people. The key is don't tell yourself, I'm giving a formal presentation. Once you tell yourself, I'm giving a formal presentation, typically what that means is you're doing a big data dump. You're larding on lots of facts, lots of numbers, lots of bullet points for some screen that no one really wants to look at. So stop doing that. Quite often, the best approach is before you start typing away some big PowerPoint deck, step back and ask yourself, okay, I'm speaking to 100 important clients today, but what would happen if I were to just sit down and talk to one of them? If we could have a one-on-one conversation and that person could ask me 10 questions about this topic, what would they really ask me? Now, here's the key. Write down those 10 questions. Think of what you want to say that will make it interesting and conversational. Think of the example. Think of the stories that will make each answer to each question come alive. Now, when you got to get up to give that formal presentation, throw away the normal boring PowerPoint. Have a single sheet of paper with just 10 questions. Now, everything will seem more like a conversation. Now, it's true. The 300 people you're speaking to are not going to be shouting out questions, but you can simply say, a lot of times people ask me, and then glance down, look at the first question, say the question out loud. Then just have a conversation. Don't worry about the exact order. Don't worry about the exact wording. Don't memorize anything. Just make it sound conversational. If you do that, what you're going to find is there's really no difference between talking to one client, one customer, one prospect versus 30, 300, or 3,000. You're also going to find that you're not going to be nervous because it's going to be just another fun conversation. The only difference is it's a lot better for you because instead of making possibly one sale or getting one new investor, you're going to get 10, maybe 100 times as much positive feedback. So you can, in fact, make every presentation you give an interesting conversation. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording there, but I do want to thank you, Olive, because you gave me that topic. Now what I do want to do is do a short version of that. Because what I have found is I can form sort of the deepest connections with people when we do these live things, especially if you come on, you talk, you ask me a question, that forms a deeper connection. But it's very hard to get tens of thousands of people to watch a live connect because it's not as convenient for people. So then doing a longer video that's edited that can sit on the internet for the next, I hope, 100 years, that can reach a lot more people. But frankly, and I can go into a lot of the detail I just did there, we won't have to edit that down to shorten it. But where I can frankly reach the most people quite often are these short videos, these videos that are less than 60 seconds, sometimes less than 30 seconds. Because those they spread quickly and easily. People are going through their feed, whether they are on Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels or TikTok or YouTube Shorts. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do a short version of that very same question, Olive, that you tossed out. And then I want your opinion of, was there anything I said the originally or in that long one we just recorded or the short one that you thought was more effective than anything else? Okay. And I see another comment. Woodpecker is saying he wants to join. You say, I want to join you. So again, if you are seeing this on any social media channel, if you want to come on live and speak just as Olive did, and Olive is still with us. Thank you, Olive. If you want to just appear on screen with me, it's very simple. All you have to do is go to my YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, type in TJ Walker Success. Go hit the community tab. There's a tab at the top. You'll see videos, shorts, live, podcast, community. You hit community, and it's either the most recent post or one of the last 3 posts. It says join me live, and there's a URL. You click that, and I instantly see you right here on my screen, and I can add you. So Woodpecker, I'm sorry if for some reason we're not connecting, but that's the easy way to connect. Adam also says, I genuinely think that you, sir, might be the one who teaches Gary Vee. It's simply just good effort. Well, I'm definitely not Gary Vee's instructor. I do respect him. I've followed him since 2008. I've read most of his books, but he is sort of a one of a kind who, as far as I can tell, is self-taught, and because he's in the trenches and has an amazing work ethic. And that is the secret to his success. And Adam says he has to leave, but got a lot of value out of today. So thank you so much for joining us, Adam. Appreciate your time and thoughts there. And Woodpecker is still trying to get on. I'm not quite sure what the problem is, but we're very happy to have you. Now, I do want to do a short version of that topic we just discussed. And before I do that, Tika's joined us. I'm going to say hello. And Tika, are you with us? And if you want to come on and share, you can unmute your microphone. If you want to just watch, that's fine too. While you're getting ready, I'm going to take you off camera for the moment, and I'm going to do a recording of a short form video in response to Olive's question. So I'm going to go ahead and do this in this particular format. And I've got to work on my angles because I want to be like this and I want to be like this for these particular videos. What do you do if you feel really, you know what? I'm going to hit a take on that. I felt like there was a spray coming out of my mouth. So again, that's why we're here today live, is you can kind of see me, warts and all, how this goes. This will all be edited out for the short form that people see. What do you do if you feel really good about having a conversation with one client, customer, colleague? It's flowing. Everything's nice. You're connecting with someone. But Now you have to stand up to give a formal presentation and you lose all that. You feel nervous, you feel uncomfortable. Here's what you need to do. Stop giving formal presentations or stop telling yourself that. Instead, do the exact same thing you do in a one-on-one conversation. Think of common questions this audience, whether they're 300 or 3,000, would ask you if they could sit down one-on-one. Then just answer the questions. Make your speech, your presentation like a conversation. Everyone will win. You'll win and the audience will win. They'll love you. Okay, so that was a little longer than what I typically like to do for a short. I have found the research shows that typically, if I do one idea 12 to 20 seconds, that is what has resonated the most with audiences on YouTube and TikTok. So that one was a little longer than I would have liked, but maybe we'll edit it down. Okay, so let's bring in our other colleagues. And Teek, are you with us? Did you want to come online? And did you want to add anything, ask any questions, or put out anything for conversation today?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I want to ask you, how can I use your feedback and improve myself? And where should I record your feedback so that I can remember your advice and act on it?
So the best way to get feedback, whether it's from me or anyone else or yourself, is to speak, have it recorded, get feedback right away, and then do another one right away
तो कुछ
and
नहीं
try
होगा,
to
वो अपडेट
focus
उसकी
on
रिक्वेस्ट
just
चालू है
one
अभी.
thing.
वो साइट में जाना, पहले जो साइट थी ना.
Do
हेलो.
you mind turning your camera on? It's a little hard to hear it, and sometimes just seeing someone's face, their facial expressions makes it easier to understand.
I want to ask you, how can I use your feedback and improve myself, and where should I store the feedback you are giving me on the videos?
Okay. So the best way is to try to do more practices regularly. I mean, one piece of feedback I'm giving you right now, but I feel like I'm not connecting, is I'd like you to turn your camera on. Can we see you? Can you do that for us? There we go. It's always good for people to be able to see you because so much of communication is nonverbal. Being able to see your eyes, the eyebrows, leaning in, the hands. So we saw you for just about 5 seconds, but then the camera went off.
Because the connection is very low, that's why.
Okay. And I do realize that it is a strain on bandwidth. So sometimes that makes it more difficult. And you're in one of my Udemy courses, is that correct? Teek, is that correct? We may have a connection issue, in which case, apologies. But to the question of how can you really get the most out of feedback, whether it's from me or anyone else? Let's step back. When you're asking for feedback from people, there's two general areas that really send people in the wrong direction. One is, feedback from a family member, friend, or colleague, and all they do is say, oh, you're wonderful, you're great, you're professional. That's kind of worthless because it's too general and generic. There's nothing specific about it. The other sort of feedback that isn't particularly helpful is if someone just comes in and gives you 23 things they don't like. You said twice, you touched your face once, you licked your lips nervously once, and just giving you this whole long laundry list of things that they think are less than ideal. Not particularly helpful. What I try to do when I'm coaching someone is try to give as many highly specific things that they are doing well so that they can do more of it. So, for example, Olive, you have good lighting on your face. We can see you very well now. It's great clarity. You have a little bit of a smile on your face. You look comfortable and relaxed. You're looking at the camera rather than looking down here at the screen. So I feel like you're paying attention. So those are three highly specific things that you can do every single time you ever speak on camera. So that's what you want for starters. The next thing, when I'm critiquing someone, and it's not like a full day, 8-hour, 2-day course, what I try to do is focus on one thing at a time that I think they could improve. And if they did improve it, would make the single biggest difference the next time they watch it. So it's not about me saying, here's 89 things you did wrong. I could do that quite often. It wouldn't help someone. So when I'm analyzing somebody, I'm going through and cataloging, like, here's 1,000 things they're doing well. Here's 1,000 things I think they could do a little better. And then I'm trying to put those in priority. After I put them in priority, I'm trying to figure out another priority list of the degree of difficulty of changing it. So, for example, someone may be a little bit stiff. Their grammar may be less than perfect. And their backdrop may have something a little distracting. And their volume may be too low. 4 very specific things. But of those 4 things, one is much easier to change than others. It's very hard to get a whole new room quite often. It's very hard to instantly change your grammar. But volume is something that people can adjust. And quite often that makes the biggest difference because so many people get on camera, they're nervous, they're uncomfortable. And all of a sudden they're talking like this, and it kind of makes them monotone and scared and nervous and uncomfortable and hard to hear. So if I just get them to speak a little louder, if I say, look, imagine you're talking to a bunch of elderly relatives at a noisy restaurant. There's 12 people at the table, and you're trying to tell grandma something happened that was big. You're not yelling, but you're louder than normal. You have more energy than normal. When I do that and people boost it, quite often, it makes them so much better. It's just a dramatic improvement. So that's a part of my mentality when I'm working with someone. Now, if I get them to boost their volume, I'll then go to another thing where I try to, first of all, reinforce, hey, that was much better. Do you see how much better it is? Do you like it? Get them to buy into it. Then I go through in my own mind, here's 1,000 things they might be doing wrong or less than ideal. But again, I put in priority and then another priority list of what is easy to fix. And we keep doing that again and again and again. Now, occasionally, I might work with someone for 6 months, which I've done for some top TED Talk speakers who've gone on to get invited to the TED stages a couple of times, get book deals, movie deals. It was in part because they worked really hard on their speech, and I might work with them regularly for 6 months. Now, not everyone has that luxury or the resources to do that. So that's the process. All right. TickTick has posted a video. Watch this video for 2 to 3 minutes and then tell me the areas I'm good and where I should improve. Okay, that is exactly what I asked for. I appreciate that. So let's watch this now, and I hope TickTick is still able to connect with us, and if not, that he can watch it on demand. So let me share my screen. Let me first hit that video. And okay, have that on. I'm going to boost the volume. I'm going to hit share screen. I'm going to go to present. By the way, if you've just joined us, thanks so much for stopping by. I'm TJ. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel, where we try to help people become more successful in all aspects of life by improving their communication skills and their confidence in communication. One of our regulars here has just been nice enough to post a video of himself for a critique. So I'm going to, okay, I'm going to do screen. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do screen one, audio on, and share. Okay. And please let me know if you don't see this or don't hear it. I'm going to play this now with a slightly different technical setup. And I hope I did it correctly.
Ribosome. Ribosome was discovered in 1953 by the scientist named George Pellet. Ribosome was found as a granular structure and he observed the cell under the microscope and he discovered ribosome. That's why ribosome is also called as George Pellet particle. Where was ribosome found? Ribosome was found inside the cell. Ribosome was found in the cytoplasm. Ribosome was also found in the nucleoplasm because ribosome sometimes it is in the bounded form, sometimes it is in the free form.
Okay. A lot of good stuff there. So, Tik, first of all, thank you so much for sharing. I liked your energy. I really liked the hand movement. I liked you moving in. There was a conversational flow. You clearly thought about what you were saying. And you seemed like you were genuinely interested in sharing your knowledge about this subject. Your speed was good. You're not rushing. So often people make the mistake of speaking too quickly. They think, oh, I got to cover all these facts. I got to cover all these data points. And they just rush. You were not rushing. That's good. The lighting was pretty good. I could hear you. So all that part was fine. You had clearly thought about it. I could tell you were glancing at notes, and there's nothing wrong with that. I glance at notes from time to time. You weren't afraid to just pause for a moment. That's great. Now, areas for improvement. And one thing that jumped out to me, I wasn't sure if you were saying ribosomes. I just wasn't sure of what the initial key word that scientific principle was you're talking about. That may be my own lack of knowledge. But if you're using a word that you think your audience might not be really familiar with, I would say it a couple of times slowly. You might even want to spell it out. Because I found myself thinking, is he saying ribosomes, flibosomes? I just missed that a little. In general, I thought you were easy to understand and clear. But you kept talking about this one word, and I just feel like I missed it. So that's one area of improvement. The bigger picture is I want you to, this may be fine in a classroom, and perhaps you were preparing this for a classroom report. In that sense, it was great. I would say in general for presentations, always put yourself in the seat of your audience and be thinking, why do I care about this? What do I really need to know here? Now, if it's a science class and you are doing the science instruction, it may be abundantly clear. But the more you can talk specifically about why a set of information you have is 100% interesting and relevant to your audience, the better. I didn't quite get that in this one, but again, I might not have been the audience. It may have been one of your fellow students. So keep that in mind. And sometimes you can say, you can toss something out. Ribosomes. Why do we really need to know anything about that? Put yourself in the shoes of the audience, ask a rhetorical question, and then come back. Well, because it's the building block of all, or whatever it is you want to say. It could be a more interesting way of structuring it rather than just here's fact after fact after fact, like a Wikipedia entry. But the main thing is, I love what you're doing in that you're speaking, you're being aggressive, which is great. You're coming on live here live, you're making videos. One small tip, it would be better if you could raise the camera up so that it's more at eye level. It was a little bit low looking down. Yeah, it was looking up at you. So it would be better if it were right at eye level, or even an inch or two above your eyes. And that would make it easier to focus on you and look a little more professional. But all in all, very solid. And the main thing is you just need to do it more. Speaking is one of those things where the more you do it, the better you get. If you're watching it each time and looking for ways of getting better. Now, I do 90 or 100 videos a month. And at this point, dozens and dozens of hours live every month. So I'm not going to lie to you and say, yes, I've looked at every single second of footage I put out in a month. No, I wouldn't have time to do anything else. But I do spot checks, and I certainly look at comments and try to figure out where can I get better. As I mentioned to you at the beginning of, well, last hour now, I've learned a lot in just the last 5 months, that things that many of you care about, I think of as relatively low priority. I have other things I think are higher priority, but I'm not going to get you to focus on my high priority things without addressing your issues. So that's something I've learned. And that's why I do find myself trying to talk a little more about body language, how to improve your voice, and common mistakes, because those three topics are ones that I've seen so many of you respond to when I put out a video on that topic and that you ask questions about. Olive has left our live room, but she left a comment. Wow, TJ, it was so great joining you live today. Sorry, I suddenly left the live chat because it's prayer time here. I'll find time to go through more of your talks and the course I'm in. Olive, well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, don't feel bad for joining us for a while and leaving it. I realize very few of you can just put all life on hold and watch me for 3 hours straight. I'm not expecting that. So whether you can join us for an hour, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes a minute, that's great. Any amount of time you could spend live, I'm happy to have you, especially if you can do as Olive did. Come on, ask a question, ask for feedback, get some benefit, and leave. And that's great. Now, ideally, you can come back. I do hope that you can come back. In the next hour, I am going to be going through sort of more of a continuing series we have on creating Amazon influencer videos. I'm interested in the topic broadly of how to be an influencer, how anyone can make money by speaking, sharing their communication skills in a broader way. And then specifically with this one program, Amazon Influencer. Now, Amazon is not hiring me directly to be a spokesperson for the Amazon Influencer program, not holding myself out to that. But I did join the Amazon Influencer program now, I guess about 9 weeks ago, and have been adding content somewhat regularly for about 7 weeks. I have now about 360 advertisement product reviews on my Amazon Influencer store. 60% of them are videos, 40% of them are photos. So part of what I try to do here is to share with you this process, to demystify it. I hope to motivate some of you to try it, whether you want to try the Amazon Influencer program, Walmart has a program, YouTube has one, TikTok has one. There are a lot of different ways of doing it, but I do think that if you want to build communication skills and you feel like you have a good base level anyway, why not look for more opportunities to speak to more people? And if you can make some money, so much the better. Whether you want to use it for yourself, reinvest it in your business, donate to charity, everyone can use more money at some point. So Barb has stepped in and says, I think it's extremely important to remember that communication is a two-way skill. we must not only strive to be good at speaking, but even more so to listen and respond appropriately. Barb, you're absolutely right. Great speaking does involve listening. And what's a little bit tricky is, especially the larger the audience is, you feel like, well, I can't stop and ask everyone their comment. There's 300 people here. We'd never finish. There's still two-way communication in that you need to be looking at people and really seeing, do they look confused? If so, it's not their problem. It's your problem, the speaker. So a good communicator is constantly trying to get information back from the audience. Does this work? Is this resonating? Am I making any sense? What do you want me to talk about? That's why those of you who've been nice enough to be with us for a lot of today and in past sessions, I try not to ever go more than about 5 or 10 minutes without asking you to post your questions, without asking you a follow-up question about something you've posted, because I want this to be a dialogue. I want this to be a conversation. That's, relates to what Olive said earlier. She's great at a conversation, but a speech seems hard. That's why ideally you make your speeches seem like conversations. There are a couple of ways of doing it. If you're talking to half a dozen people or so, especially if you're sitting down, then it's really easy to literally ask them questions, not just rhetorical questions for them to think about, but ask specific questions. I'll do that right now. Barb, who do you specifically think is really, because I know you know a lot of various experts who do live things. We've had some of your friends who are authors of books on live streaming. Who do you think is the best right now at live streaming regularly, at really building conversation into every live session? Post it or come on live and talk to us. Now, see what I did right there? I try to have a conversation by asking a real question of a real person. And I will stop and read any answer she puts on there and not just ignore it, because that can be boring. If it's only one person, you might like the person, you might like their voice, but if it's just one person, if it's just one way all the time, it's not as meaningful. There's not as much of a connection. Barb says, all of those I would recommend are speaking at Social Media Marketing World this week. And can you tell us more about that, Barb? It is fascinating in the modern world. The more we all can be digital and work from home in our pajamas, the more people actually want to meet in the real world, the more conventions there are, especially post-COVID. But before COVID and after COVID, people want to meet and actually connect, look people in the face, talk to them, ask questions. John Nesbitt, way back in the 1980s, the author of Megatrends, says we live in a world that's high-tech, high-touch. The more high-tech things become, the more people want to touch in the sense of seeing people in real life. And even back in the 1980s, he tracked the number of actual trade association meetings, conventions, conferences went up every single year. And I think that's been pretty consistent, other than an exception like COVID stopping the live things. Barb, if you have a second, I realize you're busy doing other things. If you want to stop on live a minute and talk a little about the social media marketing world, I think I saw some pages on that, but I'm not sure I know. I don't want to misspeak on the topic of social media. Meeting in the real world is absolutely essential for long-term success. Barb is absolutely right, because all of the things that I get benefit from in my online courses, where I teach people and make money and support my family, all of those lessons came from working first in the real world, face-to-face, one-on-one, small conference rooms in 45 nations with real people. So everything I teach people, it's really not just theoretical. It's not things I got from a PhD in communications, because I don't have a PhD in communications. I've never taken a single academic course in the world on communication. My degree's in philosophy. So all of my learning comes exactly what Barb is talking about, from real world meeting, face to face, small groups. So traditionally, what I did is I would work with one person, whether it's a CEO, a politician, an author, an expert, a consultant, one person in a relatively small room. Sometimes it's a living room. Sometimes it's a hotel room. Meet a camera and that person. We're face to face. We're doing sample interviews or sample speeches, video recording it, playing it back, and critiquing it. So it's those real world experiences that helped me learn everything I know. It's also what helped with connection. I can tell you there's one specific real world live event I did. It was a public workshop now about 20 years ago. Frankly, it wasn't very successful financially. I think I only had 3 people show up. But one of them was a top official at the United Nations. She liked me, recommended me to her boss. She came to this 2-day live training. She recommended me to her boss. He liked me, recommended me to his boss. His boss won a huge international prize and was speaking live on CNN. He liked me, brought me in to work for their whole agency, and it grew and grew and grew, where I worked with half a dozen United Nations agencies now for 20 years. It wouldn't have happened, as Barb points out, without the live, in-person, face-to-face meeting with me and I guess 3 people in the room. So I do want to caution you. Sometimes people like me are guilty of over glamour. Oh, just make an online course and you control your own destiny, you travel the world, make your own agenda. Yeah, but typically that doesn't really happen unless you've spent thousands and thousands of hours in person with people, making personal connections with people who then recommend you to others, spread the word, share the word, and tell other people about you. It's also, frankly, where you learn the most in many areas. I'm sure there's some areas of physics and abstract academic astrophysics where you don't have to be in the same room. I'm bringing up physics because my daughter and I have been watching the show about Jim, but the spinoff of the Big Bang, where young Sheldon. So that's why I'm thinking of physics. So there may be some areas where you can learn them entirely in your head intellectually, but for so many skills, I know what I do, there has to be the real world connection. Now, if you do thousands and thousands of hours of it for decades, can you maybe coast for a while? There was the COVID thing, obviously, that shut down face-to-face meetings. Like everyone else, I had almost no face-to-face meetings for several years, but I was able to draw upon all of those years of experience of meeting with people real. Let me give you a perfect example of what's different about face-to-face versus even something like this, where Barb could come on, I could see her, she could see me. But when I train people face-to-face in the real world for public speaking, one of the first things I do, and Barb, by the way, if you are available, love to have you on to talk about this concept, plus if you could share anything about the social media marketing world. But here's a perfect example of what's different about this. When I work with people in the real world, typically what I do, whether it's media training or public speaking, but let's say you're a part of a media training, you and 5 colleagues, you come to me or I come to you, or in a conference center or hotel, I would typically start off by interviewing you with a camera, light in your face, mic in your face, not saying anything confrontational, but it's enough to put someone on edge. I ask you a question with the light right in your face, standing. Then I have you sit down and I ask a question. Then I turn the light off on my camera. Sit back, drop the microphone, maybe unbutton my jacket, and say, okay, so how did that feel? I'm still recording it. Then what I do is I pick the microphone up, turn the light on again, final question. And then I ask them a final question. So I've recorded people 4 separate times. Now, it may only add up to 40 seconds. It's not necessarily long, but I've recorded them in 4 different situations. So if I've got 5 people now and I've done that 4 different interviews, it's really only going to take maybe 10 minutes before the day officially starts. So we start off and I said, we're going to watch these videos. Let's figure out what we like and don't like. I will play, and I tell everybody, I've recorded you 4 different times. So I'll show the video of them standing, show the video of them, the first seated interview, ask them what they like, ask them what they don't like. Typically, people will notice, I look a little stiff. I look a little uncomfortable. And then I'll say, well, how would you like to see somebody a lot better than you? Somebody more interesting, somebody more compelling, someone who gestures more, someone whose voice is richer, someone whose voice is louder. Would you like to see a role model like that? They say, sure. They think I'm going to show them Ronald Reagan or Oprah Winfrey or someone like that. And all I do is, boop, I show them the video where they were recorded in that secret interview where I turned the light off, unbuttoned my jacket, dropped the mic, because the mic was never plugged in the first place. Because 95% of the time, when people feel like they're not being recorded in that situation, they relax. Their body moves more. Their head moves more. Their eyes move more. Their voice is louder and has a greater range. So at that moment, they laugh. They realize they don't need a role model of Oprah Winfrey or Ronald Reagan. They are their own role model. At that moment, they realize they don't need me to teach them how to act on camera. They need to learn how to stop acting on camera. By the way, I'm seeing my video just went a little out of focus. I think I did something by putting my hands a little closer. Let me see if I can readjust the focus a moment, because it is on, I believe, continuous autofocus for faces. So we're still working out some of the kinks here. I'm going to try a different camera angle, see if we can get it. So Barb, that's frankly a long answer to your question about why it is so important to meet face to face. And because I agree with you completely, because in that example I give you, it's a hugely eye-opening experience for people when they see themselves in their natural state and they realize it's 5 minutes into an 8-hour day of training and they already see something they like. And it's because they didn't change themselves and tense up because they thought they weren't on camera. So that's a perfect example of something. I can't really do that when I'm training people live on Zoom or Microsoft Teams. I can't put the camera on and the light on and put a mic in their face, create tension, and then reduce tension by sitting back and dropping the mic. It's just not the same thing because we're both sitting there the whole time. And they know when they're being recorded because Zoom or other platforms will tell them. So that's a perfect example of, Barb, I think your point where there's just some things completely different about meeting people in the real world face to face versus the digital world. And I love the digital world because it allows us to connect with, today, East Africa, India, other parts of Asia. We've had people on the West Coast of the United States. So even though we didn't promote this, we don't have millions of people on, we've hit numerous continents today, right here with this live stream that wouldn't have been able to do if we all had to fly to meet me in Los Angeles or Orlando or here where I am in South Florida. So that is something that is great about meeting in digital space, but it's not the same. Tick has joined us again, but Barb has pointed out social media marketing world also streams the event live. It's a ticketed event, and tickets for replays can be purchased as well. Tremendous revenue opportunity in streaming real world events live, in fact. Barb, I am interested. How do you personally differentiate between live streaming events you're willing to pay for versus one, oh, that's interesting, I'll stop in, but I won't pay for it? Because there is definitely a sense in the training world that if it's live, people will pay for it more. It also motivates them to sort of part with their money because they think, oh, it's coming up Tuesday and I'm interested in this. And if I don't act now, I'll miss it. So having a live event where someone can put something on their calendar is quite often a great way of motivating people to take something seriously and do it. I know in the past with other public relations trade associations that I've worked with, we were much more successful saying, all right, TJ is going to give a live 2-hour webinar on how to talk to the media during a crisis next Thursday from 1 to 3 p.m. And it's $500. And you're going to get his $600 online media training course extra. You don't have to pay anymore. You'll get that. We're much more successful selling the live thing for $500 than the other course, just where you can get it anytime along with the replay of the live for the same price or 20, 30, 50% less. People do tend to put a premium on live. In the same way, if you're getting a Taylor Swift recording, maybe you pay, I don't know, 10, $20, or if you're buying a download per song, but you pay a lot more if you go see her live, because then, as I checked the other day for my daughter, the lowest cost price for a Taylor Swift ticket coming to South Florida at the end of the year is about $1,400. So people do place a premium on live experiences. So Barb, if you have any other thoughts you want to share on that, I'd love to hear from you. And again, if you do want to come on audio only, happy to hear from you as well. And Tick, I don't know if you wanted to join. Did you get my commentary on what you said earlier and your video earlier? Tick, if you want to join us, or if you're just here to listen because the connection's better, that's fine too. While we're waiting for Tick, Barb says, I think the number one event to attend in person for anyone working online in any capacity is social media marketing world. So that intrigues me, Barb. There are, if you look at all countries in major markets, there are hundreds, if not thousands of conferences these days, whether they focus on podcasting, some for just YouTube creators, some creators in general, some certain gurus like Sean Cannell have their own events. There are so many conferences. I do have as one of my goals for this year to attend at least a few, but it is confusing sometimes to figure out what's the best one, what's worth it. I do like conferences. I had a blast going to the South by Southwest conference in Austin, Texas a couple of years ago. But I would love figuring out which ones are the best to go to if I were to go to, say, 2 this year. I saw one promoted just the other day that's going to be in Baltimore, which, no offense to Baltimore, I've been there, had a good time there. It does seem like less of a convention city from what I'm used to, because typically you think of New York, LA, Washington, Orlando, Las Vegas is where so many, and a few other places in Florida are big convention places. So sometimes it is nice to combine work with pleasure and sightseeing, but it doesn't have to be that way. And by the way, Janice is back with us and says, I don't know if does that mean California, or see you soon. Barb says, When you're unable to attend each year, like me, it's extremely valuable to get the virtual ticket because then I know what was revealed at the conference. So certainly it's better than ignoring it altogether, doing the virtual conferences. I guess my one of my frustrations in the past when I have occasionally paid for a virtual rights to a virtual conference is if it's then on demand, if you can watch it anytime, why watch it today? You can watch it tomorrow, and it's easy to procrastinate. I know for me, this may strike some of you as ironic, given you see me making videos all day long. For me, my number one learning mode is reading. So I would much prefer reading text summaries, which nowadays you can do with ChatGPT summarizing videos. But that's traditionally been my frustration with just attending a conference virtually is watching video. I get too bored. I find myself multitasking. I'm reading here and that. Next thing you know, I'm spending more time reading, which is why I did like, you know, Barb reading your colleague's book on, I guess, 101 major trends in live streaming, although I've not read his most recent version. Okay, so Tick posted some more things in the private chat. Please react to my video. And so I did react to that video. I listened to it. You know what? I think what happened is I played your video. I gave a detailed critique, and I think it's when you disconnected. So I would respectfully ask that you go back, watch this replay, because this, as soon as we finish today, this video will go on to the TJ Walker YouTube channel under the tab of live. And it may take a few minutes to process, but it's usually pretty quick. I'm guessing it was around the 1 hour, 30-minute mark when I critiqued it. But you'll see your face if you just fast forward and take the cursor. And then shortly thereafter, well, you'll see the video pop up. And because I go full screen with you, so you will in fact see that video. So yes, one of the things I do on this channel and on the live feed is I will critique your videos in real time. It just so happened in this case, we lost the video connection with TickTick, but it is on this show. You can go back to it and watch it as many times as you like. But I would caution you that the real benefit to getting a critique is not that you can go back and study the guru's words repeatedly. It's that you listen once and then right away try to do another one. That is the best way to really learn it. Oh, CA is Canada. Janice added the Canadian flag to her comment. Okay, so we're always happy to have our fellow North Americans joining us, and Janice is in Canada. Canada is one of my favorite countries. I've had such a wonderful time conducting trainings in Toronto, in Vancouver, several times. One of the most interesting clients I ever had was in Vancouver with an organization that regulates and inspects all the elevators and ski slopes in places like Whistler. So it was fun actually getting to go up on the ski slopes. It was summertime, but going and seeing what they actually do. So Janice, always happy to have Canadians with us. Thanks so much for joining us. So Barb also points out, at this stage in life, attending virtually is the best alternative. So that is one of the great advantages of attending conferences virtually is even if there's a big ticket admission, you save all the cost on travel, which is often the biggest expense of a conference. You save so much time of all the travel time. And if you've got family, dogs, other concerns at home you've got to tend to, you're not completely away from them. So it's definitely a lot easier attending live events, which is one reason why I'm going to be bringing back live. I don't know yet if it's going to be monthly or weekly webinars where we focus on one specific in-depth subject related to presentation skills and media training, where you would also get an online course to supplement that, plus typically a certificate. We'll be bringing those back in part to make it more accessible to people. People who want more than and more structure than what you get in a live session or just watching a few of my videos, more of an immersive experience than just an on-demand course, but without having to travel across the world or across the country and pay frankly much higher fees and hotel and flight and all that. So that is something that you'll be hearing more about really in just the next few days. Now, you may see me sort of leaning forward like this. What I'm doing is taking my mouse and I'm going back and forth between the comments section and the private chat. There is that option in StreamYard. And Tick just wrote again, can you please give me the reaction to the video? I sent the link. So I did watch it again, spent considerable time. I'm going to need you to go back and you're with us in the green room. Let me just add you. So I appreciate you sharing the link. I did watch it. I did give a critique, many, many good things there. So apologies if we lost the link there. A little bit unfortunate. And Barb, I have connection problems. That's why I didn't get you there. Okay. And again, that's part of the beauty of live streaming is someone misses it, you can let them see the video on demand. Now, there is a debate among a lot of YouTubers of, gosh, if we did the live stream, maybe we shouldn't let people see it on demand later, because if we let them see it on demand later, why should they ever have to come to the live stream? They know it's coming. So some YouTubers and some streamers on other platforms specifically don't let anyone see it after it's live. I'm still doing research on this to figure out what's best. I've opted in favor of let's make content as easily accessible to as many people as possible in as many places as possible. That has been my guiding philosophy. Doesn't mean it's the best one. Doesn't mean I won't change. There is a school of thought among a lot of very successful YouTubers that you can do the live, but instantly delete or make it private, because anyone live typically has relatively few views compared to a polished, edited, slick 30-second video or the traditional 8 to 14-minute edited video that's got the graphics and the sound effects and all of the polish that you somehow can detract from your edited videos if your live is up there and people come and say, oh, this video only got 200 views and the others have 2,000. So this person must be going down. And that's why some people just either delete them after it's live or they put it on private so it doesn't show up on their page. I don't know completely how I feel about that. I'd love to get your feedback. And you may feel like I'm making a mistake, that I'm harming my YouTube channel or my other social media channels. So I'm still trying to grapple with that. By the way, stay tuned. In the next hour, I am going to be doing part of our continuing series of actually making product review videos, whether you want to call it an advertisement, a review, an Amazon influencer video. I will be making videos and taking pictures that will be added to my Amazon storefront. And if you're interested in seeing what that looks like, you can find it by going to my YouTube page, clicking that top button that has the for more about and all the links that people get to link to. The bottom link for me is my Amazon storefront. I'll give you the URL, but it's too long to remember. It's amazon.com/shop/TJ Walker Success. Now, you may be able to remember that. For me, that's a bit of a mouthful. But everyone who is an Amazon influencer has the same address, in that it starts with amazon.com/shop/ and then whatever they name their channel. It might be their personal name. It might be, typically it's the name you have on all of your other social media. And that's where I've made mistakes over the years. Believe it or not, I once had at TJ Walker for Twitter, and I won't bore you with the details, but I lost that handle. I did in 1995, coming up on 30 years, buy tjwalker.com. So I have that. But I don't have it on all the other social media platforms, which is why I have shifted to this brand name of TJ Walker Success. So I can be more or less consistent across platforms. Tick says, okay, tell me, how do you use your journal, and how should students use their journals to improve our public speaking? So those of you who are in any of my personal development courses know that I do recommend journaling every single day. Now, there's a lot of different ways of journaling. There's bullet journaling. There are people who swear by it has to be paper and a nice leather bound book, and maybe get a big quill, or it has to be a $300 Mont Blanc pen and all that. I don't fall into that camp. I can't really read my handwriting. I don't like to write. So when I journal, I'm journaling on my phone. So I keep things very simple. I have just a folder in my notes section. This the one that comes in built automatically on an iPhone. I just have something. It's a folder typed morning journal. And then I have typically 20 different categories of things that I reflect upon. And then typically I dictate the answer. Again, there's a school of thought that says, oh, you need to handwrite it to be maximum mindfulness about it. I do it this way because I can do it quickly, and there are no hurdles, there are no barriers, there are no speed bumps. My way not be perfect, but I do it pretty much every day. Certainly 29 out of 30 days in a month, I'm journaling. Now, the question from Tika is specifically, how do you journal to help improve your public speaking? One of the things, it depends on how you set it up. So I have, one of my categories is, here are goals. What are your goals? So I'm looking at some of my categories. One of the things I have is visualize my ideal life. I'm not going to share with you every detail. One of them is have a perfect 8 hours of sleep every night. So that's something I read every single day. One of my ideal lives is speak to 1 million people every day across the world via social media. Now, I'm not reaching 1 million people yet, but that is under the category of visualizing my ideal life. That's a little bit different from goals, which I also have. So you could, for example, put your own category of visualizing your own perfect life and saying, I talk to 10 people live a day when I go live on my YouTube channel, or I speak and create 1 new video a week, could be yours. So I have a whole long list of things I look at every day. There's some of them I'm writing every day. I have one of the things I write down is create a monetizable content in ads Monday through Friday. And I just do a W for win when I do that. So I did it this morning, and I put holiday because yesterday was a national holiday in the United States. So I didn't want to make any videos. I wanted to really take the time off, go with my family and friends, took my daughter to see manatees at the Manatee Lagoon, went bowling with friends and family, did go-kart racing. So I didn't want to make monetizable, but I can see every day now for the last 2 months or longer, did I make monetizable? So that relates to my speaking skills, because when I'm making monetizable content, I'm doing it by speaking. So I hadn't really thought of it the way you did, specifically, Teak, about journaling to help that, but it's so much a part of who I am and what I'm about. I see that it kind of seeps into everything. I have another category that I look at every single day called long-term output goals. So one of my goals here that I wrote several months ago before I even started was do a long-term daily live 3-hour show about success and communication on all media platforms, but based on YouTube. Do daily short form communication skills videos on YouTube. Get speaking engagements at least once a month. So those are all things that relate to goals. So that's how I would set it up if I were you. Come up with different categories. One of the things I have is, what am I grateful for? I know it sounds cheesy to some of you, but I do buy into the idea that you're going to feel better and feel happier if you spend some time every day reflecting on what you're grateful for. So I know that my entry last Thursday was that I was grateful to have the opportunity to give a paid speech to 400 lawyers around the world on Wednesday, the day before. I was grateful for that opportunity. It was fun, sharing my expertise, making good money. So that's an example of how I integrate certain goals of mine in a lot of different categories, all in my daily journal. So I have a total of 21 separate categories that I write in my daily journal. Some of them are simply yes, no, when uh, did I do weightlifting yesterday? It's a very specific category. Others I have to reflect and think and dictate a sentence or two. But I only spend certainly less than 10 minutes each day. It's typically not more than about 5 minutes. And I can do it. This isn't the ideal way that mindfulness experts necessarily recommend, but I can do it in the 5-minute walk from home to the office. So I've been doing this for about 5 years. And I can tell you, I'm a big believer in daily journaling. And you can do it in your own style, paper, pen, pad, something fancy, dirt on the street if you want to. But I do think there's something about reflecting on your life on a daily basis, where you've been, what you're doing, something that takes you out of just the ordinary flow of, I got an email, respond, got a text, respond, going to go live today, respond. Something that takes you into a little more reflective mode is a very, very helpful thing. So, Tika, I appreciate you doing that. So Barb writes, why do you think streaming continuously for that amount of time is the best route to take? So Barb is also an expert on streaming, and there are differing schools of thought on this. We've had conversations about this. Barb, I know you're more a fan of starting and stopping, because every time you start, then YouTube, various platforms will send out an alert to people that, hey, this person you follow is streaming and you might want to join them now. So there is a certain value to stopping and starting. The reason I'm doing it this way, and again, I don't hold this out as the best way. I'm not saying I have the absolute best reasons. The reason I'm doing this, a couple of things. Part of my model is, and this is going to make me sound like an old fuddy-duddy, is television, cable news, and syndicated talk radio shows, where you look at the most successful talk radio host of all time, certainly in the last decade. And I'm going to mention some names that are controversial in America because of their politics. I'm not talking about their politics, but whether it's Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Howard Stern, the thing they all have in common is they're at least 3 hours a day live continuous. Case of Howard Stern, 4, sometimes 5 hours is what he did. So part of it is by being out in there that long, it just makes it a lot easier for people to get a part of you, even if it's 5 minutes. Part of it is, and I haven't started integrating this yet, there's just a lot more opportunities to integrate ad placements, whether you put in ads every 15 or 20 minutes. The other tactical part, Barb, is I absolutely do not want to stop and start and have 3 or 4 separate videos that all then appear as on-demand videos for that day. Because the live videos, by their very nature, until you're really famous, get proportionally 90, sometimes 99% fewer views than a short form video or a produced long form video. So I don't want someone coming on my channel and saying, oh, wow, the last 5 videos TJ did, nothing's gotten over 11 views. Whereas if they go onto my channel now, we've had a slight drop in the last week with some changes, but in general, my short form videos have been getting, between 1 and 7,000 views. So to a lot of people, that kind of signals, okay, this is a real channel. This is legitimate. I don't want them coming on and seeing all of a sudden, here's 5 videos in a row that in the last day that have only gotten 10 or 20 or 50 views. The other thing is, as a practical matter, when I don't have staff to do this, I don't want to have to go and actually create a whole new link on StreamYard and create it again and type up all those things and then post it. It's just a whole lot of typing that I'm not willing to do. Speaking of administrative tasks, I've not yet figured out how to get my accent lights to stay on. I don't know if they have an automatic timer that goes off at 2 hours, or if I still have simply done something the wrong way. So I'm going to take a second and play that back. So Barb points out the top 100 influencers in Ross's book are of the same frame as I am. An individual stream, most of us don't have the level of staff cable news shows have. Well, I mean, I obviously don't have the same staff that a cable news has, but it's a question of, if I'm going to try to create content that's valuable to people, one question is, do you go live once a week for 10 minutes? Do you go live once a day for 10 minutes? Do you do it for an hour? Do you do it 3 hours? Do you do it 10 hours? There's an infinite number of choices, or from 1 second to 166 hours a week. I think we can agree 1 second is just way too little. 166 hours is way too much, plus someone would go crazy. So there has to be something in between that. I'm still experimenting. So I'm doing 3 hours in part, but you're right, cable news has that, but there are countless syndicated talk show hosts who have no staff, and they do 3 hours a day. So that is a proven model. I mean, that's something I've done before and I'm comfortable with. At one point, I did a live show for 4 hours a day. And the other part is, I am looking to build this out, and I hope, whether it's another week or another 4 weeks, what I am hoping to do is to have one great high quality guest every day for a full hour. So it's not just going to be TJ talking all the time. The other part is, I mean, I think some people do less because they feel awkward or embarrassed if they don't have at least 800 people watching them. And for better or worse, I don't feel that level of embarrassment. I kind of feel like, if I'm helping one person, it could be just me and one person. If I'm helping that person, that's a nice thing. The other thing is, they may ask a question in a slightly different way, in a provocative way, where it kind of forces me to answer them in a different way. I record it on demand, and maybe I do a long version and a short version. And it may be that video gets 10,000 more views than anything else has gotten in the last month, reaches more people. Maybe that brings in clients or speaking opportunities that I simply never would have gotten if I hadn't been live talking to that one person. Barb, you were talking about the importance of, face-to-face stuff and live. And I do think that's important, because I remember once I did a live seminar maybe 20 years ago, It was a 2-day event open to a total of 15 people. I only had one person show up. This was earlier in my career. It was a public workshop in New York City. But I had a guy come. He happened to be the top PR guy for a prime minister in Eastern Europe. The guy liked me and only stayed for a few hours each day, but liked my approach, liked what I did, recommended me to the prime minister. They brought me over to this castle and treated me like royalty. I had a fantastic time. Went back a second time to work with another prime minister candidate. It opened up a whole range of connections to a number of countries, including Serbia and Montenegro. It never would have happened if I hadn't spent time with that one person. So that's part of why I like this live streaming is we don't have to have a huge audience. Sometimes there might literally be only one person on. And thankfully, in the last few weeks, we've always had at least a handful. So it hasn't been just one, but that's a part of it. The other thing is, frankly, I feel like I'm still developing. It helps me to talk out some of these issues, to figure out how can I structure the ideas, the examples, the stories in a way that can be more beneficial to people. Now, could I change my opinion? A month from now, I may say, Barb, I've really thought about it, and I'm going to do 10 minutes a day, 3 days a week. And that's the optimum length. I don't really know. So Barb says, having guests is the only way to roll, in my opinion. There's another great argument for attending social media marketing world in person or virtually. So Barb, again, if you can't come on, I understand you're busy doing other. Where is social media marketing world? Is it too late this year? Who's speaking? I mean, I've heard of it, but I've heard of so many different conferences. I can't keep them all straight. Can you elaborate a little more about social media marketing world? Where is it? When is it? Is it too late this year? Can someone buy the virtual pass after it's finished if they think it's of value? What speakers are speaking that you think are going to be most insightful? How to stop the mumbling. Oh, I thought Barb was telling me to stop mumbling. This is a new comment from someone new here. Warren writes, how to stop mumbling. Can you go deeper, sir? And Warren, you may have written to me on, I don't know if it was on YouTube or Twitter, about this issue. I do have several in-depth videos on how to stop mumbling and how to come across clearer and more articulate. So if you put in mumbling on the search bar, you know what? I've talked about this. Let me just share it, make sure I'm giving you good advice. So I'm going to hit present. I'm going to share my screen. I'm not going to share the audio. I just want to see what's there. I'm going to share the screen one, share. I'm going to go to YouTube. So I'm going to just go to my YouTube channel. I want to make sure I'm 100% giving you good information. So if you go on anyone's YouTube channel, there is what looks like a little, not a microscope, but a spotlight. It's a search bar. I hit search. I'm going to hit mumbling. This should only pull up videos that relate to mumbling on my channel, not across YouTube. Okay, so here is a 2-minute and 28-second video I did a month ago on how to stop mumbling. There's another one 4 years ago that's 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Here's one that's 17 minutes that is not exclusively about mumbling, but does address it on how to be more articulate. And then someone asked the question, I guess 6 days ago in a live stream. So I have tried earnestly to, let me stop sharing, to talk about this subject. And Warren, one thing I would ask is, can you come online right now? And I mean, the link is in the comment section. You can also go to my YouTube channel, hit the community tab, and see where to click so you can join us on live so I can hear you talk. I mean, that's really how I could help you the most is if you could speak to me live and I could hear you. So much of what causes mumbling is simply a volume issue. People get a little nervous, a little tense, a little stiff. They tighten up, and all of a sudden it's now I'm kind of talking like this. And if you're a little bit nervous and you're freezing your face, you're not moving your lips and your mouth and your tongue as much. So the simplest way to not mumble is to speak louder than normal and to very consciously move your face, be more expressive. Now, I don't mean talk like this, that would look ridiculous. I just want you to be more animated. Again, think of it as you're with a whole bunch of friends or family. It's a noisy, noisy restaurant. Your favorite soccer, football team is playing, and they've just scored or they've just been scored upon. What are you going to say? I bet you're not mumbling at that point. Typically, people who mumble only mumble when they're outside of their comfort zone. So the trick is you have to do the very same things that people do when they're in their comfort zone. You boost your volume, your hands move, your face is more expressive. So Warren, I hope that's helpful. And I very much appreciate you stopping by. We're going to shift gears now. And I apologize. At the beginning of the day, I told you I was going to make a training video today, and we just had so many questions and so much fun. We're going to have to postpone that to tomorrow. But what I am going to do is continue our ongoing training session today on how to use your speaking skills to make money by being an influencer. I'm not selling a program on this. I'm not telling you you're going to get rich quick. What I am doing is demonstrating my own journey of getting to sort of the entry point, the minor league of influencing. Doesn't make me Kim Kardashian or you Kim Kardashian, but it's an entry point where you can speak about a product and not have to deal with the barrier of someone saying, no, you can't speak here, or no, you can't be associated with this product or this revenue stream. Because Amazon has figured out a way of getting rid of those two barriers once you're in the program, so you can speak, promote a product, and make potentially some money. Okay, my wife Joanne has just walked in. She has graciously agreed to be the camera operator today. I do want to stress, you don't have to have a whole team. You don't have to have extra people for this. There have been plenty of times when I've just done it myself. It's a little bit faster, especially when I'm demonstrating for you how this is done. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking my phone and I'm putting in a receiver for a microphone. I'm plugging it in. I'm now getting the microphone that goes with this one. I'm going to turn it on and look for a green light to make sure. Well, it went on for a second. And it went off. So let me try another microphone. If you're interested in these microphones I'm using, I do have a video ad for them on my Amazon store. You can learn more about them. So I'm going to hit on. And now the green light has stayed on. So I need to charge the other one. So I'm going to give my phone to Joanne, who's graciously stopped by. I'm going to put the microphone, I'll put it right on my tie. You know, you can put it on your tie. You can also put it on, well, that's a little bit obscured. So Amazon doesn't tell you about, or they don't want you as a part of your agreement to give specific information about what's inside your own page, what is inside their insights. And I certainly want to be respectful to Amazon. It's their baby. But I also want to be as transparent with you as possible to help motivate you and make you realize this isn't that hard. Anyone can do it. Not anyone can become a billionaire. Not everyone can make 7 figures a year being an influencer, because I'm not there yet as an influencer in the traditional sense. But I do think virtually anyone who can speak and has a cell phone can get into the game, whether it's for Amazon or anyone else. Now, I'm in a few different programs, so I'm going to say this generically. So I'm not specifically saying it was Amazon. All I can tell you is I got up this morning, woke up, looked at one of my online programs, and saw overnight somebody bought a coffee pot I'd done an ad for, a coffee making machine, and I made about $5. That was just a nice way to start the first work day of the week. So I wanted to share that with you. Okay, now I'm going to go over, I just threw in a bag today a handful of products from home. And I do products of the office. I have a whole bunch of my video cameras over here in a box to remind me that I do need to do ads for things like this camera right here. But I'm not going to do those today. Let's just start off with a few simple things. Okay, this is a light. And you know what? We probably should plug this in if it's going to be a light. But this is, in fact, a reading light. We have several around the house, and it's just very convenient. Yeah. So let me plug it in here. We may have to go out of frame. I'm going to go to camera 1 so you can see what I'm doing. So again, those of you new to this, I'm not doing all sorts of market research. There are people who recommend doing that. I'm not doing all sorts of market research, figuring out what is the hottest product that's going to make me the most money. What I'm doing is simply looking at products that I like, use, know, and already recommend to people, and sharing what I like about it. So I'm going to put this in right here. And Joanne, since you're in front of that camera, I'm going to switch to camera 3 so we don't obscure this. So this is the laster. I don't even know. All right, so the first thing we do always is we take a vertical picture with the product, and I'm going to try to not talk. So we take a vertical picture, now we're taking a horizontal picture. Okay. And let me see if I can actually adjust this. Are you seeing it adjust, Joanne?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
This reading light is flexible. It's easily adjustable. I have one next to my bed. I have them throughout the house. And this is true. We have several of these. So that was the short form vertical video. Now we're going to do the horizontal video.
Three, two, one.
This reading light is very flexible. You can adjust how bright it is, how dim you want it. I have one next to my bed for reading at night. I have one in the living room for reading. It's flexible, it's easy, it's very affordable. I find this to be a brand that is reliable. That's why I have them and recommend them to others. Okay. Now we're doing the long form one.
3, 2, 1.
Reading is important to me. That's why I love this reading lamp. It's very flexible. You can adjust up, down. You can adjust how bright or dim it is. Hi, I'm TJ with the TJ Walker Success Channel. And so much of my success I give to reading a lot. I like to read at least an hour every night. So it's important for me to have reliable lighting. That's why I keep these around the house next to my bed, next to the couch, so I can read there. If you're looking for something that's flexible and affordable and reliable, this reading lamp fits the bill. Okay, so that's the first product. Is any of that going to win Madison Ad Awards? Is that any of that? Are any of those going to go in the Super Bowl? No, that's not the intended effect. I'm simply trying to share about products that I like, that I use, that I've recommended to people. And part of it is a volume game. There are plenty of videos that I've made and ad where they've never seen the light of day. As far as I know, nobody's seen them. But if you put enough up there, over time, some will really catch on. And I have seen that already. Again, I'm not suggesting I'm making millions and nothing like that, but you definitely see traction on some ads. Now, the next is a simple stapler. I'm assuming that I got this on Amazon, and I'm also assuming that if I didn't, that Amazon sells this. Normally, I would check quickly, but again, we're only going to spend a couple of minutes making this. So if for some reason it's not sold on Amazon, I haven't really lost more than 2 minutes of my time. So the rule is with Amazon, you have to have the product. You're supposed to show the product that you have it and not in the store where you're just walking into Walmart. But the product doesn't have to have been purchased from Amazon. As long as you have it and the product is sold on Amazon, you're okay. All right. So this is the Stanley Bostitch stapler, which I think I've had for at least a decade, and it's always works. Does someone really need to watch a video about a stapler? I don't know that someone does, but again, I'm just following the basic principle of if I have a product, I like it, and I can talk about it, I do. So it's the Stanley Bostitch. And Warren does say, thank you. And Warren, I appreciate you stopping by, asking about the mumbling. Please do me one favor. Post a video of yourself in the comment box or in the description or the question section, either on the community tab on my YouTube channel or in the comments section. I would love to see you, because one of my observations is that sometimes people think they mumble and they really don't. They're holding themselves to a higher, unrealistic standard. Okay, we're ready for the short form video. Okay.
Three, two, one.
The Stanley Bostitch stapler works every time. I've had it for years. It works well. That was the short form vertical. Now we're doing longer form horizontal.
Three, two, one.
I don't do a lot of stapling these days, but every so often I do need to staple. This Stanley, it works perfectly every single time, and it has for years. If your office, your home office, your regular office needs a stapler, Stanley knows how to get the job done. And now we do the longer one.
Three, two, one.
Part of what I like in my home office and in my office outside the home is a reliable stapler. Now, I don't staple that much every day, but once a month or so, something just has to be stapled. I've had this Stanley stapler for many, many years. It works perfectly every single time. Nothing gets jammed, nothing malfunctions. It's old technology, obviously, but still highly effective. When you don't want to use paper clips and you need something to stick together, a good old-fashioned stapler gets the job done. So again, what I'm doing there is I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Every once in a while, I'll do an ad and I'll think, you know what? That's stupid. Let's just delete it. But for the most part, I'm not trying to get these crafted, trying to win advertising awards, thinking I'm going to appear on the next Super Bowl. I'm simply trying to share in a conversational way something about the product that I like that I think might be relevant to other people, might help them make a decision. It's really that simple. So this is a shaving cream that I happen to use, a Gillette. Now the pictures.
Three, two, one.
If you want a smooth shave and you don't want any irritation, the Gillette Sensitive Plus is a great aid. Now that's short. I don't even know if that makes sense. A great aid. It's not exactly the wording I would want to use. But again, I'm not expecting to make much money from this. I just don't know why, frankly, anyone really has to watch videos on what shaving cream to get compared to, say, a video camera. So I'm just going to go to the next one.
Three, two, one.
The Gillette Sensitive Plus is what I trust to my face. Now, these days, everyone seems to have a beard or a little scraggly look. Doesn't look good on me. I prefer the clean shave, and yet I don't want to irritate my skin by shaving every single day in any way that's going to be harsh. So that's why I love this Sensitive Plus. It's sensitive to my skin, so I can shave daily with the least amount of irritation. Okay, so I do think that did hit my central point. Will I make any money from that? I really don't know, but it is how I feel. It is why I use this. It does seem to feel good. So I'm going to work with that. Now we're going to go to the longer one.
Three, two, one.
Are you looking for a shaving cream that's very sensitive and easy to work with? Well, the Gillette Sensitive Plus is the one. Hi, I'm TJ with the TJ Walker Success Channel. I appear on TV every single day, and I'm just not one of these guys who looks cool with the cool little beard or the 5 o'clock shadow. I like a clean shave, which means I have to shave every single day. That's why I use the Gillette Sensitive Plus. It makes my skin feel good with minimum irritation. So again, I am being sincere and genuine with what I said. Do I feel like I want to devote my life to the Gillette company in some call? No, but it is a product I like. It is a product I use, and it works for me. Okay. Up to free. I want to make sure I get this right because I think it's saline solution. So I wear contacts now. Some of you may remember only seeing me in glasses. I went back to wearing contacts when I started doing more and more live video with you so as not to have all the glare. So I think of this as saline solution, but I'm not sure that's 100% the official name. You know, I'll just say I use it for storing my contacts. Okay. Do the picture. Now the horizontal picture.
Peel moist. That's the name.
Okay. So we've now done the two pictures. I'm now going to make the vertical short form video.
3, 2, 1.
If you travel and you wear contacts, this is the great. I told you, again, no one's perfect. I make mistakes. I just stumbled there. All we have to do is hit delete. Now, it is important, I think, for your workflow, hit delete right away. So you don't have to go back and accidentally load it up. So we're going to go ahead and hit delete. We'll do it over.
3, 2, 1.
If you travel and you wear contacts, this is the perfect travel companion. The Opti-Free Pure Moist is what I put my contacts in. I don't have to worry about getting through security with a typical big bottle of saline. It's the right size and it works well every time. How long was that? I try to get the short forms 15 seconds or less. Sometimes I go over.
18.
18, we'll stick with it. It doesn't have to be 15. It's just a good benchmark. Now we're going to go to the longer one.
3, 2, 1.
If you travel a lot like I do, and you don't want to get caught with some big thing of liquid that security says you can't take that, this is the perfect travel companion if you wear contact lenses. Now, typically at home, I use a large bottle of saline, but when I travel, the Opti-Free Pure Moist really works well with my contacts because it's a nice size container. It's certainly going to last me a couple of weeks or so, even for a long trip, and it gets through security perfectly every time. And now for the long one.
Mhm. 3, 2, 1.
If you travel and you wear contacts, the Opti-Free Pure Moist gets the job done. Hi, I'm TJ with the TJ Walker Success Channel, and I had to travel the globe teaching people how to speak more effectively and how to do things like have good eye contact. That's why when I'm making videos, I don't like to wear glasses. I wear contacts, but I've got to do something with them at night. That's why I store them when I travel in the Opti-Free Pure Moist. If you're looking for something great to travel, the right size, this does the job. So again, what I'm trying to do there is build a little branding, help other things, build an awareness. So maybe I never make any money from the video, but I help create more awareness to my channel, my brand name across social media. So that's what that is all about. Okay. Now this next one is a little bit odd in that the box I have is a little old and dirty looking. It's really not ideal for the pictures, but we're going to use them anyway. Retainer Bright, 96 tablets. Okay. So we're going to take the picture. Now we're going to make a video. And this is our 5th product, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Retainer Bright. Some of these products I use daily for years. I don't really think of their name. I just know what it is.
3, 2, 1.
Retainer Bright is a great way of sanitizing anything you have to put in your mouth, like a retainer, or in my case, a snore guard. You take the pill out, you drop it in the water, it fizzes away the bacteria. So that's the vertical short. And so I don't wear a retainer, but I do wear a snore guard.
3, 2, 1.
If you wear a retainer, a snore guard, a guard to protect yourself from grinding your teeth at night, you want to keep it clean. That's why I use Retainer Bright. I've used this for years and years. You just take the tablet out, put it in a glass of water with your retainer or mouth guard, and it bubbles a little, fizzes away the bacteria. It works really well. Now the long one.
3, 2, 1.
Doesn't matter how many times you brush your teeth. If you put a retainer in your mouth or a snore guard or a teeth grinding guard, it's going to get dirty and it's going to be covered with bacteria. That's why I use the Retainer Bright. I take the tablet out, put it in a glass of water with, in my case, a snore guard, and it bubbles away the bacteria. So it ends up clean every day. I've used this product for years. It's reliable, it's consistent, and it's a part of my daily oral routine. So I was about to say a part of my daily healthcare routine, and then I caught myself because Amazon specifically does not want people, especially people who are not medical doctors, giving anything that can be construed as healthcare advice, medical advice. Okay, so we've now made reviews for 5 products. We've done 3 videos and 2 pictures that will each be linked to the product page where people can buy it. So it's a total of 25 ads we've made. We started at what, roughly, Joanne? 11:15. It's now 11:40. So basically 25 minutes. So we essentially made 25 ads in 25 minutes. So I feel like we're getting a little bit better and a little bit faster. I do want to stress this is not the best way necessarily. It's not standard operating practice from the most successful people. It's simply the technique I happen to use that suit my style. Joanne, thank you very much. I'm going to do these and share these with people online now, the actual upload. So I'm taking off my microphone. Again, this is just the microphone that worked with my iPhone. Again, what I hope you see from this is you don't have to have fancy equipment. The fact that I have my studio with lighting and all that doesn't really help with this. In fact, there's a school of thought that says you're a lot better doing this just in your home, your bedroom, your kitchen, your garage. You don't need anything super fancy like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower my table, sit down, kind of roll up my sleeves. I'm going to just unbutton. Don't worry, I'm only unbuttoning this jacket. And I'm going to walk you through step by step exactly how I go from the concept, shooting the video, editing it, which we're not doing any. The only editing we're doing is hitting the delete button. And now I'm going to upload it into my Amazon storefront and show you the process to demystify it. So bear with me 1 minute. I'm actually going to lower my desk because I like to stand when I'm talking to you throughout most of what we do. But now we're really getting to the point where things are kind of tedious. It's really like a lot of things in life, it's typing and hitting return. Stuff that isn't glamorous, but it is essential. You do have to do it or you get nothing. I mean, one of the reasons why I have been successful making online courses, frankly, is there are a lot, I'm going to lower my desk just a little more. There are a whole lot of tedious steps to making an online course that have nothing to do with just the fun part of standing up and speaking and sharing expertise. But you have to do it or you don't make any money and you don't reach students. So you have to do it. Same thing with this Amazon influencer program. And really any influencer program, although I would argue that with so many other affiliate programs, there are a lot more steps. I mean, Amazon does, to their credit, go out of their way to make things relatively easy for you. And Tick has joined us again. I would say, caveat with the Amazon influencer program, to my knowledge, you have to currently live in the United States, Canada, South Africa. If you don't live in one of those, and there may be a few other countries, but my understanding is that in most countries around the world, even if you have 10 million subscribers on YouTube, you can't at this time be a part of the Amazon influencer program. Presumably, they will roll it out to more and more countries. So apologies if I'm getting you all excited about this and you can't do it. I would suggest to you that if you can't do it with an Amazon, you can probably do it with some others. So I'm going to walk you through this process again. The first thing I'm going to do is just go to Safari. I'm going to go to my Amazon page. And now it's got its own, it just shows up in my browser. I hit create content. I hit post, I hit photo library, I hit the last video I just made, I hit done. It's going to take a few seconds to upload that. And I see we have a number of people who've joined us in just the last few minutes. And I want to thank you for stopping by. I'm TJ. This is the TJ Walker Success Channel. This is the place where we try to help people become more successful in life by communicating more effectively and more confidently. And this is the segment where we're really focusing on a niche aspect of that, which is how to communicate making online videos as an influencer. Even more specifically, how to make an Amazon influencer video and photo post. So that's what we're doing. And we just shot all the content. In 25 minutes, we shot 25 ads for 5 different products. So now it's uploaded. It's asking me to tag the product. I hit your orders, and I'm going to put in retainer bright. Retainer bright. It shows up as a product I did in fact buy on Amazon. Sometimes I might have gotten something at another store, Costco, department store, but I did get that and have gotten many of them on Amazon. I tag the product, I hit done, a title. Easily clean your retainers and mouth guards. So I dictate because I'm faster at dictating than I'm typing, and I hit submit. Now I go to the storefront, I hit create content, I hit post, photo library, I go to the next video, I hit done. It's uploading. Try to get faster and faster at this every time, because if I knew in advance, wow, I'm going to make $10 million from this ad, okay, let's spend 2 weeks on it. But any one of these ads, I don't know if I'll make any money from it. Therefore, I want to play a numbers game. And now my strategy could change. It's simple. I may find after 6 months and 5,000 ads that a very particular type of ad that's exactly 17 seconds long and is only vertical, that's where I'm making all my money. So maybe I stop making all the horizontals and I stop doing the pictures. But at this stage, I don't have that data yet. So it's asking me to tag. The name of the product is Retainer Bright. Tag product. Done. Title. Quickly remove bacteria from your mouth guards and retainers. So when I'm titling these, I want to make sure that I'm not using contractions. For some reason, that sets it off. You can't use retractions. The title, you're given a limit of 60 characters. I thought for a moment, maybe that was too long, but it was 59. So that part was perfect. Usually it doesn't let you get to this page without uploading everything. Oh, I forgot. I didn't hit the tag properly. It wasn't letting me submit. Okay. Occasionally I'll see it. I'll hit done. And you can't do that. You have to make sure you actually hit the tag button. Retainer bright. Now I hit submit. Okay. Now I'm going to go to the storefront, create content, post, video library. Now I'm doing the short form, horizontal, done. The short form should upload faster. And again, for those of you watching this for the first time thinking, wow, this is really boring. I know, but it's an important part of the process. You don't make any money unless you do the tedious aspects of uploading it and labeling it, or you have someone else do it. I haven't figured out a way of transferring the data and even telling someone how to do it in a way that would actually save me time. So that's why I'm doing it myself. Retainer bright. Take product, done, title. Keep retainers, comma, snore guards, comma, and mouth guards clean. So I do try to dictate it accurately, but every once in a while, like in that case, you put in an extra comma after snore before guards. It doesn't make sense. So I went in and edited it and just deleted the comma. Now I'm going to do the photos for that product. So I hit the product, I hit done. Those are much faster. Your orders, search, dictate, retainer bright. Tag product, done. Caption, which is not the same thing as title, it can be longer. Dictate. Keep your retainers, comma, snore guards, comma, and mouth guards clean on a daily basis. Again, added an extra comma, so I took the time to get rid of that. I got a storefront. I hit create content. I hit video post, photo library, and I go to the last one for that product. You may have noticed I do 5 essentially ads for each product, 2 photos, 3 videos. I hit done. Can I guarantee that's the best practice? No, and it may be after I'm at this longer and can track what works, I maybe only do one 14-second video and don't do any pictures. I don't know yet. So I'm going to go to your orders. Retainer bright. Hit that, tag product, done, caption. Take the gunk off of your retainers and mouth guards. Gunk isn't exactly the most scientific term, but I think people can understand that and relate to it. By the way, if you're watching, feel free to post a comment. You can also just join me live. So this is not content I'm creating, anticipating to be the next Mr. Beast and attract millions of people. What I'm doing is hoping to show you step by step, even the tedious steps of how to be an influencer and make videos and go from everyone's familiar with the concept of how to be an influencer, but how do you actually do it? How do you go from thinking, yeah, that's really cool, I'm going to do that one day, to actually being able to look at a screen and wake up in the morning and say, oh, I made this many, I had this many views yesterday, I had this many clicks, and I had this many sales, and I made this much money. That's a much steeper, and I'm not saying that because I'm making $10 million a year on this, but I am making some money. And that's what I'm hoping to help you do, is take a speaking skill you have and turn it into something that could benefit you or your family or anyone you want to give your money to. So now we're going to the next product. This is a video. It's going to take a moment to upload the video. And let me make sure I have that product so I get the exact name. There are a lot of products that I use, even on a daily basis. I don't necessarily know the brand name for it. Okay. But by the way, if you don't feel like you're going to interrupt me, if you have a question about this or you want to know about a product, let me know. Just type in the comment or just join us live. Okay, so it's uploading the first video for the Opta Free. By the way, in general, I mean, I think I'm okay on this. In general, vitamins, anything that can be stored as medicine, anything where it's making specific health claims on its own packaging, you're a lot safer just not trying to do an ad for that product on Amazon Influencer. They do not want to be accused of putting out misleading health information. Okay, so that is uploaded. I select orders. Optifree Pure Moist. Okay, that one I can't dictate it because Optifree is not a normal word. Now, before I hit return, I'm not sure I bought this on Amazon. I may have bought it at a drugstore. Yeah, it did not show up. So now what I have to do is I go to Browse History, which I'm not sure why they call it that, because if you type in a product, if they have it on Amazon, it will show up even if you haven't searched it before. So now I have to type in Optifree. And I don't want to dictate it because it's not a normal English word. So now I'm looking for the right size. So now I do, in fact, see the product. It does, in fact, have 8,000 reviews, all of them 5-star. And I see the size. I'm tagging it. Pure Moist Multi-Purpose. Okay. So I'm hitting done. Perfect travel size for your eyes. I'm hitting done, submit. Go to storefront, create content, post, and photo library. And now I'm going to go to the second video and upload that. I've hit done. While it's doing that, let's check in with Woodpecker. Says, can I again come live on to take a reaction on another video, TJ? Woodpecker, let me make a deal with you. If you come on tomorrow at 9, I'll absolutely make you first. But we're about to go past our 3 hours. I want to finish this in part so people can see the whole process, kind of see how tedious it is, but also let them realize, well, this guy's not any smarter than I am, and he's not typing any faster than I do. If he can do it, I can do it. So we don't have time to react to any more videos today. But please come back tomorrow. We're trying to do this every single day, Monday through Friday, 9 to noon. We didn't do it yesterday because it was a national holiday here in the United States. And I see Teak has joined us again. If you could post a question, if it relates to, I mean, I'll add you if you want, but I've got to finish this task. But if you have a question about Amazon Influencer, let me know. Okay. Opti Free Pure Moist. Oh, I hit your orders again. I didn't order it, so I have to go to Opti Free. I'll try it without the hyphens. Opti Free Pure Moist Travel Size. There we go. I'm tagging the product. I'm hitting done. If you have contacts, travel with these. Done. Submit post. Go to store. Create content. Post, photo library. Final video. Done. It's uploading. And Tika, if you had a question or comment that relates to making influencer videos. Doesn't even have to be on Amazon. If you have a question about that, feel free to either come on and say it or to post it in the comments section. And I see that we've had other people go in the private chat. Teak has posted this. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that today, Teak. But if you stop by tomorrow, I'm happy to meet with you tomorrow and to critique your videos then. Okay, I'm going to go to your orders or browse orders. Opti-Free Pure Moist Travel. Tag, done. Title, perfect size for traveling when you have contact lenses. Again, is that the most wonderful, poetic ad copy? No, it's basically just straightforward and simple, clear, which is, for me anyway, the fastest, easiest way to create copy. Doesn't mean it's necessarily the best. Create content, photo library, and photo. I have done. Browse history, dictate, Opti-Free Pure Moist Travel. I tag product. By the way, this is a $4 product. So even if I'm really successful, I'm not going to make much money getting a couple of percent of a $4 product. Tag. But I'm trying to learn my craft because even though I've been a professional speaker for years, being an influencer pitching products in a video format is relatively new to me. So that's a part of why I'm doing this. Perfect size for traveling with contact lenses, period. Easy to manage. And submit. Go to store. And I see Mohammed has joined us. Mohammed, thanks for joining us. We're already overtime today. We've gone more than 3 hours. And we're going to get kicked off some platforms. I'm going through the final stages of uploading Amazon influencer videos. So I will take your question about anything related to Amazon influencer videos and influencer videos in general. If it's anything else, I would respectfully ask that you come back tomorrow, probably around 9 a.m. Eastern time, where we'll have yet another live session. So I'm going to hit create content, video post, photo library. And now I forgot whether I've done 1 or 2 of my photos. I'm going to do it again. And if I hit a duplicate, I'll try to delete it. So I hit browse order, Opti-Free Pure Moist Travel. Tag product, done. If you travel and wear contacts, comma, this is the product for you. Done. Submit. And now go to storefront. And I'm going to create more. Now I see Adam has joined us too. So again, I want to thank everyone for all the great questions that people have stopped by today. We're in the final stages of, I'm going now through the process of uploading videos I made right in front of you today for the Amazon Influencer Program. So we're going through these. So I won't be, unless it's a question about Amazon Influencer videos, I won't be taking any more questions, general questions about communications today, but I will remember, I will remember you. So please come back first thing tomorrow. So now I'm going to the next product. Now we're going to the shaving cream. I hit done. It's going to take a moment. I'm going to get some more water here. We are uploading this video. I'll be tagging it in just a moment. I do want to thank Mohammed and Adam for joining us. And let me get this product out so I can be ready to label it. You know, I've tried the electric razors before, and after a while, they just don't really seem like they work very well. Oh, is Muhammad? Oh, so Adam is writing is Muhammad from Egypt. So, yeah, we can share comments with each other, one another. Nothing wrong with that. And if there's any way of cross-pollinating or connecting or finding a new partner to review each other's videos, I'm all in favor of that. Muhammad said he's from Hyderabad, India. And one of my old next door neighbors was from the Hyderabad area and made the absolute best biryani in the world, which I still go back to Long Island to visit, in part just to get more of that biryani. So I love the cooking from the Hyderabad area. Okay. All right. So let me then go to your orders. Again, I can't remember if I bought this shaving cream from Amazon or from Costco. We'll find out. I'm going to type in your orders, Gillette Sensitive Plus Shave Cream. No, so apparently I bought that at Costco, which is not a problem. I'm going to hit again, tag product, hit browse history. Now I'm going to type Gillette Sensitive Plus Shave Gel. It is in fact a product on Amazon. It is in fact a highly rated product of 4.5 stars. Now I will recommend a product if it has fewer than 4.5 stars. But if it has fewer than 4 stars, it makes me think, maybe there's a problem I just didn't see that a lot of other people did. And I don't want to risk my credibility being associated with a shoddy product. So it will give me pause. But when I see 4.5 stars plus, then I feel very confident. Great shaving gel for sensitive faces. Done. Submit. Go to storefront. Create content. Post. Video library. Go to the next video. Done. Now it's uploading the video. So here's the part where people get lost, because just speaking in front of a camera seems fun, seems glamorous. Typing, uploading, labeling, submitting, any one of these tasks can be boring and tedious. When you combine them, they can be boring and tedious. And that's why most people never become influencers. That's why most people never make a podcast, because there's a lot of boring, tedious aspects to it. Mohammed, I'm going to take you off the screen. You're more than welcome to stay with us and listen, but I'll just take you off and let me know if you want to chat or talk about anything. Now I'm going to hit Browse History. Gillette Sensitive Plus Shave Gel. Tag, done. That's the 20-second video. Your face will love you. Sometimes I come up with titles that are maybe not completely straightforward, analytical, but I'm trying to just mix it up and create a little variety. Photo library. That was the 26.1. Now I'm going to the short form vertical. I hit done. It's uploading the video. Takes just a few seconds. The short one is usually much, much faster than the long ones, but they're all pretty quick. Browse history, search, dictate. Gillette Sensitive Plus Shave Gel. Hit. I don't know why it didn't search. Okay, there it did. Tag product, done. Title. The perfect shave gel for sensitive faces. I'm not quite sure what the difference is between a shave gel and a shave cream, although I guess I do. It's not the creamy, foamy stuff. It is the gel. Go to storefront. Now I'm going to upload the picture part. I'm still uncertain about where the photos are distributed. Amazon says we can share them anywhere we want. If someone clicks your photo with the product, or it could be just a picture of the product, and then buys, you get the affiliate commission. Post photo. I took the first photo, the horizontal photo. Browse history, search, dictate. Gillette Sensitive Plus Shave Gel. Tag product, done. Caption. Smooth and refreshing shave gel for a sensitive face. Submit. Go to storefront. Create content. Photo library. Tap on the last photo. Hit done. Post. Now that's odd. It's usually very quick to post that. And I see a couple of folks have joined us live. It may seem peculiar what I'm doing. What I'm doing is walking you through the steps of how to go soup to nuts from concept to actually having an Amazon influencer video and photo on Amazon that can be seen around the world. So I hit browse history, dictate, Gillette Sensitive Plus Shave Gel. Tap, tag, done, caption. Perfect shave gel that makes any shave feel great. Done. Submit. Go to storefront. Create content. Create content. Photos. Photo library. So now I'm going to, I believe this is the fourth of the 5 products we've done. Great. And those of you wondering, why am I going to my mouse? It's not checking my email. I'm using the StreamYard system for doing these live streams, so we go out on a lot of different platforms. Today we're on a couple of Facebook pages, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, and also I believe it's Twitch is the last one. But they give you a regular comment section and a private chat section. And Mohammed says, could you please repeat the time for the live stream? Okay, Mohammed, we're still in an experimental test phase, but what we're trying to do is 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time in the United States, Monday through Friday, on days where it's not a holiday or I'm not traveling off giving a speech or training or on vacation. So that's the basic schedule. Okay, so now, we're going to the next product, which was in fact a very simple stapler. Now this is the one where I didn't do, even the 2 seconds of homework to make sure this stapler is sold on Amazon. Stanley is a major brand. We've done other products from Stanley, and they've all been available on Amazon, but there's always the chance that a product is discontinued. Okay. And Mohammed says thanks. Well, thank you, Mohammed. And thanks to those of you staying with us. Again, I realize if you see me do this before, you probably learned all you can. This is more for people who've maybe heard about Amazon Influencer, thinking about it. Maybe you've even signed up, but you're not really quite sure what's the whole process. So I'm walking you through that. Okay, so I am now uploading the video we made moments ago about this stapler. I'm going to go to your orders and type in Stanley Bostitch stapler. Didn't show up. So I must have gotten that at Office Max or something like that. But something tells me that Amazon does sell it. So I'm going to now go to Browse History. Stanley Bostitch stapler. Reason I'm looking is they have a whole bunch of options. I'm looking at the model number. Looks like B660. And there it is. Just a very simple stapler. It's got a 4.5 star. Again, I would be a little reluctant if there's a product I use in but it has like a 2.5, 3 stars and a lot of reviews. That would make me think, there must be something there that really is causing problems for people that I don't want to be associated with. But 4.5 stars, it's hard to really get more than 4.5 stars for anything. A simple stapler that does the job every time. Done. Submit. Go to storefront. Create content. Post. Photo library. Post video. Hit done. It's uploading. And I want to thank Mohammed for being with us, Adam, others, Barb, who was with us earlier today, Olive was with us. So we haven't necessarily had millions of people watching us today, but I really love the fact that so many people from different parts of the world could join us, ask questions, have their videos critiqued, and help me make a part of a community here. Browse history. Stanley Bostitch stapler. Now, what I haven't figured out is how to get to this one quickly because they have so many different staplers, but I see the one I have. An old-fashioned stapler does its job perfectly. Submit, go to storefront, create content. Now I do the short form video, the vertical video, uploading the video. And those of you sticking with me, I appreciate, because we've now been here for more than 3 hours today, having a lot of fun, sort of trying to hone and refine this whole process. Browse history. Stanley Bostitch stapler B660. Tag done. When you want one thing done well, that's sort of a more elliptical title, but again, I'm not expecting to make millions of dollars or necessarily any money from an ad for a stapler. I'm not quite sure why someone would be so hesitant. Oh, I might get a stapler, but let me see what our video review is. I'm trying to learn from this process. I'm trying to get better at making promotional videos, talking about products. So there are many, many reasons for doing a video like this. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money, but I'm not doing this in a highly strategic manner, thinking, wow, of all the products in the world I could make money on, a simple stapler is the way to go. No, that was not the thought process. I'm showing the stapler, hitting done, browse, search, dictate. Stanley Bostitch stapler B660. Tag, done, caption. The perfect stapler for home or office. Done, submit, go to storefront, create content, post, video photo library, last photo, done, browse history, search, dictate. Stanley Bostitch stapler B660. Tag, done. A simple stapler that does exactly what you ask it to do every time. Done, submit, go to storefront, create content. So we've done 4 out of the 5 products. We're almost done, headed towards the finish line. Post video, photo library. I now go to the last product, which was the first one we actually made today, the reading light. I'm going to hit done. It's uploading that video. I'm going to pull the product here so I can reference it. And I'm 99% certain I did, in fact, buy this on Amazon because I can't imagine where else I would have gotten it. Not the sort of product that I would have purchased at Costco, typically. I don't really spend a lot of time going to department stores or furniture stores for that matter. Not since I moved to Florida 3 years and 2 months ago. So it's the Lastar, Lastar. Again, I do use these lamps every day. Although I'm using this less now that I have my Amazon Kindle Paperwhite, because I can read it at night without having a light on, which is a huge plus, which is why I gave a nice review for it earlier. Okay, so that video is going up. Now you're ordered. Lastar reading light. So that didn't pull because it turned it into last star. So let me hit tag again. Your orders. Okay, there it is. Lastar LED desk lamp. So I'll dictate desk lamp. I hit tag product. I hit done. Title. Perfect, simple reading light for bedroom and the couch. Going to eliminate that. Mohammed's got to say goodbye. Mohammed, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And to see a number of new people just signed on. Glad you could be here. Okay, we're at the tail end of a 3-hour live stream. I'm walking through the final steps tagging, uploading, labeling, advertisements we made earlier on this session today for the Amazon Influencer Program. So now I'm hitting done, submitting post. So I've submitted the first video. I go to storefront, I hit create content, post, photo live, and I would show this to you, except that would be a violation of Amazon's rules. That's the only reason I'm not showing it to you. So I'm going to the lamp, I'm hitting the second video. I did, done. It's uploading that video. And it, again, takes a few seconds. I'll use that as a time to get a little water. It's uploading it. It is a good reminder. I need to take all these videos off my phone, put them into a Google Drive so I have them as backup and so I don't completely fill up my phone. Your orders, LED light, wow, I bought so many. Okay, there it is. See, I bought so many lights over time. That brought up a whole bunch of things. So, reminder of things I should do more reviews of. A great little reading light. Hit done. Go to storefront. Hit create content. Post video. Photo library. And now I'm going to go to the final video, the short form vertical. I hit done. The 8-second, it's only 8 seconds long, so that's likely to go up very quickly. I say that, I could have perhaps jinxed myself. Your order, dictate, LED reading light. I hit cert. Wow, I have a lot of lights. So that one, that time, I called it something else and it didn't show. Hit tag. I don't know why I suddenly started typing rather than dictating. Okay, there's the product. Done. Title. Great, flexible light for reading in the bedroom or anywhere. I thought I'd gone too long, but that was exactly 60 characters, right up to the 60 character maximum. Go to storefront, create content, photo library, scroll down. I'm going to find the first photo of that product, your orders, LED light, search, tag, done, caption, flexible and versatile light that goes bright or dim. And by the way, I do have these. I mean, I have one light right on a little table next to the couch in my living room that I use every day. And I have another one right next to my bed on a little table next to the bed. They really are very nice lights. Storefront. Create content, photo library. I'm now going to the last photo. Done. Your order. LED light. Find the product. Tag, done, caption. A great little light that is versatile and durable. done, submit post, and we are done, ladies and gentlemen. I'm TJ Walker. Thanks so much for spending some time with me. What we just finished here was a process of creating 25 different ads, product reviews for the Amazon Influencer Program. It took 25 minutes to shoot and make all the ads, take the pictures, make the videos. And then it took, I would say, probably 45 minutes to do the tedious stuff of uploading it, tagging it, captioning it, coding it, that sort of thing. And that's the part I think that you have to do, or it'll never see the light of day. But people get bored with it and they give up because they don't get enough positive reinforcement. They don't make $10,000 the first month, so they give up. I do believe, like with a lot of things, patience pays off, learning as you go, making tiny incremental changes as you go, learning from other experts as you go is what makes the difference between succeeding, the top 1, 2, maybe 3%, and the 97% who give up too early and don't do the hard work. Thanks so much. I'll see you again tomorrow at roughly 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks.